How's it going, guys? Hope you got your big rubber masturbating shoes on because it's time for the list critics. I'm Peyton. John Sierra's here with me as always.
The old Negro BMX.
Or Necro. I'm so sorry about that.
Whatever, man. It's not like my name is some secret or something. No big deal. You suck, Hunter P. Nah.
Oops.
You suck. All right, well, we're going to start as we normally do with... it feels good to do voices again. I was sick for like a month, and I couldn't even talk in my normal voice, much less do the Joker like that.
See, that's the best part about doing voices is it does clear up your voice real easily.
Yeah, but when you can't even talk, it's hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to do. I once did voices on YouTube for so long. I was doing the Meatwad voice for so long that I actually hurt myself.
Ow.
I was talking like this for 3 hours doing videos, and then I think my vocal cords broke or some shit. But anyway, we're going to begin as we normally do with Tumblr Gets Deep, 21 instances of such. And you can all start placing bets now on when Peyton's brain will break. It's usually pretty early.
No.
Yeah.
Don't.
Usually it's the first thing you're already my brain is broken.
That's why I said don't. You will lose the bet quick.
Yeah. All right. Corvo says, me. LMAO, I wonder what'll happen if I light this thing on fire. Me. Lights the thing on fire. The thing is on fire. Me. Incredible.
Okay.
Well, that is, I guess that's the basis behind most movies.
Pretty much.
Or Mythbusters. I always loved Mythbusters because they would do all the science shit, and they would, prove a point, and then they'd be like, all right, now let's see what happens if we blow it up.
I saw them live at North Texas University at their little coliseum they have up there.
Oh, that must be awesome.
They love blowing shit up.
Yeah, it's no matter what it is, they could be doing any kind of thing, and then they're like, let's try blowing it up. See what that's like. See what that's all about. Okay, Guy says, one time my parents had an argument because my dad bought a bald cap for $2.70, but he was already bald.
Guess he didn't want to shave anymore.
But if he's bald, that's confusing.
Oh.
If he's already bald, why would you need a bald cap if you're bald? Maybe this is for a friend? I don't know. That is confusing.
Maybe loose strands of hair.
Yeah. Hey, for $2.70, it's not worth having an argument over.
Right.
Just Shower Thought says, my brain is like an internet browser, several tabs open, half without feedback, 1,000 pop-ups, and where the fuck does the music come from? Yeah, that's about accurate. That's about accurate. Llama Palooza says, we're all just trying to bust a nut in this world, whether it be a sexual nut, spiritual nut, health nut, career nut, success nut. When you put it that way, I would say, yeah, that's true.
Pretty much.
This is why Mom worries says, my parents, don't worry, sweetie, you'll understand when you move out and have a house of your own. Me in this economy. A what? My parents, don't worry, sweetie, you'll understand when you get married and have a husband. Me, a known gay. A what? Okay. That makes sense, I guess.
Misunderstood.
Yeah, the parents have missed the mark there completely. They're probably baby boomers. Rice Blush says, at the bad eyebrow, I feel you, I feed you, I bathe you, I groom you, and yet you forsake me like this. Why are women so concerned with their eyebrows?
I have no idea.
Have you ever looked at a woman and been like, oh man, her eyebrows are hot?
Hell, I'm looking more in her eyes than her eyebrows.
Yeah, we do admire the face, but eyebrows kind of don't matter. I mean, look at Jennifer Connelly. She's got the bushy woolly bears, but everybody thinks she's hot because she is.
Yeah.
Ian Glenn says, get a load of that dog, get a load of that dog of that dog. Look at that dog, look at it, get a load of that dog, get a load of it, look at that dog, look at it, woo, 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 yeah, woo, 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 woo.
Dog lover.
Well, who isn't? Wet Monsoon says, I once heard someone argue that the monster names of recent horror movies have gotten more and more ridiculous each year because they're running out of scary names, and I didn't buy into it until now. And they show a poster for the movie The Bye Bye Man.
That is some desperation right
Honestly,
there.
like I saw the trailer for that, and whatever. But the name is just—it's like something a 3-year-old would come up with. I mean, a disturbed 3-year-old, but still. Iguana Mount said, I had a dream where I met Yoshi's dad, but his name was Yabi, and he looked like this. And he shows a drawing of basically an apatosaur with Yoshi's head. You gotta see this, Peyton. It's pretty funny. Like, if Yoshi had a dad, I'm gonna link you to this. Or I'm just gonna put it in the chat. Right. If Yoshi had a dad, I imagine he would look like this. There you go.
Hey, it's not on Facebook.
No, Skype.
And it's not showing up.
Because I gave it to you in the chat on Skype.
Yeah.
Are you on your phone?
No.
You gotta click the little word bubble icon to open up the chat thing.
I'm looking at it. There's nothing there. It just says call from John Sierra.
You want me to send it through Facebook?
Yeah, please.
Okay. There you go.
Skype, you suck.
You suck, Hunter P. I sent it. I see it in the windows. I know what you're talking about. You're blind, apparently.
No, I promise. Check it out. Print screen.
Yeah, well, you don't need to prove it to me. I don't know. I don't know why. Well, yeah, actually, let me see it. I want to see what you're looking at. Print screen paste. Let's see it.
There we go. Skype.
You haven't sent anything.
What the fuck?
Okay, clearly something's broken. You know
Skype,
what?
you're broke.
Never mind. Skype's just fucked up.
When isn't it fucked up?
Good point. Oh, wait. Oh, you just sent it through Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, yours doesn't show up and mine doesn't show up. That is weird. Oh, that is just...
Forget Tumblr gets deep. This is Skype gets screwy.
Yeah, Skype gets stupid. Well, oh, it just came through Skype.
Yeah, so did yours.
Maybe, I guess it's Skype gets lag. Whatever, man. Okay, Anal Mal says, let me just pause to just reflect on how awful this person's Tumblr name is. Anal Mals, like animals, but with anal, I guess.
Oh, God.
That's not good. Anal Mal says, do you ever get, water hungry? And Pitsu says, thirsty? And Anal Mal says, no, water hungry.
It's called Ice Cube, son.
I think it's called thirsty. I think I'm with Pitsu on this one. I mean, there is that moment. Like, if you ever wake up, in the middle of the night, or in my case, the middle of the day, and you just need all the water in the world at that moment?
Yeah.
That's happened to me, every day. And I'll hydrate like a fucker, but oh well. And it sucks, because then it takes forever to get back to sleep, because first I'd, drink a gallon of water, and then it's well, now I gotta pee 3 times before I go back to bed. This asshole says, my friend just texted me, it's not acceptable that Trump feels good about himself and you don't. And I think it's the most motivational thing I've ever read. Honestly, Trump should feel good about himself. I don't like him, but Trump should feel good about himself. I mean, he may be one of the biggest assholes out there. Motherfucker's rich as fuck, he's got a hot wife, and he's the president now. I mean, maybe people hate him, but what president hasn't been hated by somebody?
Oh.
For maybe George Washington. But I guess King George didn't like him too much.
You got no fans of Abraham Lincoln either, so...
Well, I mean, half the country, went to war about that guy. I mean, I'm a fan of him, but... All right, Stability here says, shower rhymes with hour for a reason. Am I right, or am I right? And then they reply to themselves by saying, I'm running my family into the ground with the cost of our water bills. Wow. I gotta
he
say,
doesn't have skin problems like I do.
It's not often that I get to do this because I don't have time, but especially because where I live, the hot water don't last very long, so I pretty much forced to take very fast showers because the hot water don't last long. But I gotta tell you, back when I lived in New York City and You get hot water for fucking days there. I would take a shower that was like an hour long, and that shit is awesome. You like zen out, you come out, your hands are all pruned up, and you're just like relaxed as fuck. It's almost like a schwitz at that point, you know?
Yeah, I hear that.
No name on this one. It says, my dance style ranges from white dad at a barbecue to stripper whose rent is due tomorrow. There's a very wide berth right there.
Yeah.
That
hey,
let's have
a party. Where are you getting this money at? Stripping?
Yep. Fandom Stuck says, the fact that there are animals who can see colors that I can't, which means there are colors that exist that is literally impossible for me to envision, is such fucking bullshit that I want to rip open a couch and eat it. And then Ignotum per Aqua Ignotum replies with, humans have 3 types of rods for processing color, red, green, and blue. Mantis shrimp have 16. And Van Castiel says, fucking shrimp, I will not be jealous of food. You know there are people that can see like shit like ultraviolet and shit?
Yeah.
It's like a mutation or something. Wonder what that shit looks like. I guess there's no way of conceptualizing it if you've never seen it, you know?
Precisely.
Popular Boyfriend says, my life is one part wait and another part what? I think that's everybody.
Yeah.
The Tower of Pimp says, 2009 me would think that 2014 me was hot. And that's all that matters. Mangoist, though, says, gat damn, that is true. Via Flower Child says, so maybe 2021 us will be even better. And the Tower of Pimp says, that's the kind of positivity I like to see. Is there a word for finding yourself sexually attractive, like egosexual or something?
Possibly.
I guess there is now, huh? I just coined it.
And it's on Tumblr, gets deep, too, so it's going to be officiated soon.
There you go.
We're about to break triple digits.
I'm fucking this up anyway. KXSXY says, pros of wearing all black. Looks so badass. Cons. Everyone knows I had powder donuts. And Fauna Gray replies with, this didn't go in the direction I expected. It was much better. I agree. You can't hide the powdered donuts when you're wearing all black. Not Jack White says, people who dry swallow pills go hard as hell and should not be fucked with. What is the big deal about? What is the big deal?
I don't know.
I mean, I could.
Most of the time it gets stuck in your throat.
I don't know. I don't have that problem. I could dry swallow pills. I don't choose to do that because it's not the most pleasant thing in the world. But like, I know people out there who can't take pills at all. Like, every time they try to swallow a pill, they gag. And I'm like, how do you even eat food, motherfucker?
I don't know. Most of the time when I was working in the nursing home, whenever somebody had that problem, they'd either mix it up in their food, and then there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Fruit Pack says, meeting people's moms for the first time is so intimidating because I can't tell if they're a strict mom or a laid-back mom, and as I ride in their car, I have to slowly figure out what breed of mom they are. I guess we've all gone through that in the past.
Thankfully, I haven't yet.
What do you mean you haven't yet? You were never a child, and you hang out with a friend at their place or whatever, and you got to figure out if their mom's chill or not?
Most of the time, they hung out at my house.
Oh, so, or like you're dating a girl and meeting her parents or whatever?
No, I didn't start dating until I was like in my 20s.
Oh, okay.
I was the loser in school.
Yeah, I get you, man. I can relate. 1612 says, imagine having a really big spider as a pet that didn't bite or jump or do anything scary, just like a 2-foot-long spider that just sits there and follows you around like a puppy and speaks English, and when it talks, it has a really deep voice and talks in a really aggressive voice and rarely speaks. When it speaks, it only says helpful things like, yo, man, there's balloons on sale in the next aisle for like 90% off, in a deep spider voice, and it's just a really chill spider overall. Well, two things. One, I would love that because I know people that are afraid of spiders and I don't fuck with them. And 3, nobody has ever been higher than this person right here.
He's definitely stoned.
Yeah.
Whatever he has, give me some.
This guy's done all the drugs. There are no more drugs left to do. If you want to get high, we're going to have to wait for this guy to die, dry his body out, crumble it up, and smoke it.
Rolling.
There's no names on this one. This person says, what if concert tickets fell from the sky? And the next person says, maybe I'd go outside for once. And the next person says, maybe. And then I guess the same person says, I'd probably just open my window and put a net out. But then you'd have to go outside to go to the concert, so... You know, just saying. Or unless you're planning on just selling them on eBay for profit. So, there you go. Out of 21, this is pretty entertaining. I don't think any of them are, like, too terrible. I'm going to give it, like, I'm going to go 20 on this one. What do you say, Peyton?
I'll say 17. Those first ones were like, what?
It did kind of take it a while to get rolling, but I kind of like when there's a curve like that. Okay,
there you go.
15 Twitter jokes everyone should read. Ali Garfinkel at Oligarchy says, the fondue? You mean my drinking cheese? Ew. I mean, I like fondue as much as anyone, but I'm not just about to gulp down the cheese like it's like a fucking drink. You got to put something in that. Matt Monroe and Hey Monroe says, being an adult is about two things. One, ability to do whatever you want whenever you want. Two, never doing anything. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, it is funny because you go through these stages of adulthood. You eventually reach this stage where like you suddenly realize, hey, I can really just do whatever the fuck I want. And then you do it. And then you realize that there's reasons that you were not doing that in the past. And then you get to that stage you're like, you know what? I'm going to avoid doing things if I can.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yale says, next generation Monopoly pieces. Croc, Fedora, Prius, iPhone, Starbucks cup, a thimble, because we've made very little progress in that area. Well, you gotta have a thimble. I like that one.
People still use thimbles. They use them at work.
Yeah.
At Walgreens they did.
It's true.
The interviewer did.
This tweet's actually from Mara Wilson. Do you know
really?
She was the little girl that played Matilda. I guess she's on Twitter. She hasn't acted since she was a kid, but she's something like in her 30s or something, but she hasn't acted. But
she got out of that business quick because
her mother died, and her mother died when she was filming Matilda, and that kind of soured the whole thing. But anyway, Mara Wilson tweeted, I just saw someone say they had a master's in sarcasm, but I don't know if they really did, you guys. Okay. There, Mara Wilson. I see you there. That's clever.
Sounds like a tribute to Robert Williams or something.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. Well, she was in Mrs. Doubtfire as well, so.
She and him were really close, almost like a mother-daughter, according to what she was saying after his death.
Wow, I didn't know that. Nathan Usher at the Nate Wolf says, interviewer, would you call yourself a hard worker? Me, absolutely. I make almost everything harder than it has to be.
Yeah.
All right, that's funny. Rob at Rocky Momac says, executive, this one's not about murder, is it? Stephen King, it's about children. Okay. And corn. That's nice. Who murder? Damn it, Stephen! You know, to be fair, if Stephen King gave you a book and it wasn't about murder, it would kind of be slightly disappointing, don't you think?
Well, he does, he leaves branches out, but almost every book I've read by him has had... No, wait, every book I've read by him has had murder.
I'm trying to think, because I've read a lot of Stephen King, and I'm trying to think if there's, like, any one of his books that nobody gets killed or kills anybody, and I'm kind of coming up blank on that one.
Technically speaking, 11/22/63, I believe.
I haven't read that one.
Let's just say that because of time travel, technically nobody dies.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I get that. Yeah. All right. So yeah, but I just haven't read that one. All right. So this next one, this is from Heaviside at Australia Tavix 6, whatever the fuck, and they post a picture of a little kitty cat looking at a laptop screen, and on the screen it says, "Hello, kitten. Hello, you stinky kitten. Go eat a mouse, ugly." And they post, "Who is cyberbullying my son?" All right. That's way too complicated.
Wow.
Yeah, that just didn't work. Glenn Lurie 2.0 at Just a Bloody Game says, Ghost stops playing tennis and turns to camera. I'm totally dead, but with twice daily Resurrectra, I don't let my disease define me. Wow. That was like a Mad TV Season 5 joke. It's not very good. It's like, go back to
I think I missed out on that season.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, I don't know how many seasons it actually was. I'm just saying that Mad TV was like really only good in the beginning. Like Glenn Larry, just go back to the drawing board on that one. That one didn't work. Frovo at Frovo says sperm. Hey, egg. Hi. Fallopian tube. Ugh, get a womb, you two. You
Don't
can't
they?
see me, but I actually cringed at that one. You guys, I cringed. That was
Maybe I'm glad I didn't.
I cringed. This person's Twitter name is $6.52 at Animadvert Guy. Skydiving instructor. Pull your chute. Me. My shoe? Your parachute. My pair of shoes? Later. Coroner. Where's his shoes? Okay, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. I guess he never quite heard him. Pete Lynch at PJT Lynch says, marriage teaches you a lot about yourself. For instance, I've learned that I don't need to use so many paper towels, and they're expensive.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because this fucking Trump, I'm not even married, and I know that's true. Dream Ghoul at the Dream Ghoul says, Mugger, give me your purse or I'll shoot you. Me. Realize I won't have to pay student loans back if I'm dead. I'm thinking about it. Alright, well. I mean, that's kind of more depressing than funny.
Exactly. I was like, what?
Audrey, this is going downhill fast. Like, it started out okay, but I'm glad it's almost over. Audrey Farnsworth at Autopenny says, come along, trash spaceship, I say to my purse as we leave the house. Yeah, that... Audrey, no, you can do better than... I mean, I don't know if you can do better than that, but I'm assuming you can do better than that. Alexis Wilkinson at Oh God, It's Alexa says, sometimes a man says a thing so dumb, my eyes roll far back enough that I can see the exact brain area that's atrophied from chronic disappointment. I kind of like that.
Yeah, that was clever.
Oh, yeah. And finally, ratings machine JPN says, son, it's time to tell you about the birds and bees. Peers through blinds. They're everywhere, son. They rule the skies. Here's a gun. All right, well.
Have fun.
Out of 15, like I said, it started out so strong, but kind of fizzled there. 5. I'm gonna say 5.
4 for me.
Yeah, disappointment. I am disappointed, son.
What happened? What happened? I actually yawned during that. What the hell?
Yeah, it was not good. Well, Twitter jokes is very hit or miss, which is kind of why I enjoy doing it, because some days it's like, wow, that was great, and some days it's like, no, you suck, try harder. I got a list here from therichest.com. This is interesting, the 15 douchiest games of 2016.
Oh, let's hear it.
These video games are douchey for one reason or another. I haven't really looked at this list. I just brought it up a little while ago. But, this looks like List Critics material to me. Number 15 is Umbrella Corps. Okay, so I mean, let's face it. Anything that Capcom puts out is kind of douchey anyway, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 14 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. I kind of get where they're going with this. I mean, you did have to buy Infinite Warfare to get Modern Warfare Remastered. But at the same time, let's face it, you're going to buy it anyway, you piece of shit.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I bought it. I spent the $80, so, like, who cares? Yeah, they got us by the balls, so what? Number 13 is Dino Diny's Kickoff Revival.
What the hell? That sounds like a Bible game.
It's actually a soccer game, and it looks like an old-ass soccer game on, like, Sega Genesis or some shit. These are
Ninja Baseball Batman?
Yeah, oh, that was a good fucking game.
Yeah, it was.
You ever see the video I did of me playing it? It's like
no,
9 minutes.
So.
It's like 9 minutes long, and for the whole 9 minutes, all I say is Ninja Baseball Batman over and over again. That was pretty cool. So I guess that Dino Dini's Kickoff was like a soccer sim PC game series that was out in the 80s, and they were decided to bring it back, but they haven't really updated the visuals or anything about it. So they're like, hey, let's bring back that old series, but not, make it good. Oh, well. Number 12 is Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters game, just terrible. No matter how you feel about the movie, whether you liked it or hated it, the game was a piece of shit. That's sad because we already had like a really good Ghostbusters game from a few years back.
Yeah.
This one, no, this was not it. Not it at all. So I kind of agree with that. Number 11 is Slain. I haven't played Slain. My girlfriend got it for me recently, and I haven't gotten to play it yet. Tanya has it too. She said it was pretty good. Apparently, they're still kind of going by the early access version, which apparently didn't have very good gameplay, but I've heard that it's drastically improved, so I don't know if I agree with it being douchey, because the developers are at least still supporting it and working on it and listening to people's criticisms and, improving the game. So how can that be douchey if they're still working on it, right?
Right.
I don't agree with that one. Number 10 is a game called Coffin Dodgers. Oh, this is awful. Listen to this. This is it's like a Mario Kart type of thing, except you're playing as old people on scooters trying to outrace death.
Somebody finally did it.
That's awful.
Somebody finally did it.
That is one of the douchiest things I've ever heard of. That is terrible. Wow. Number 9 is Mighty Number 9. The game itself is not douchey, but all the bullshit that surrounded itself is just what it is, bullshit. Did you play Mighty Number 9, Peyton? What did you think if you played it?
It was, well, by the time I got around to playing it, I'd played, 6 official Mega Man games and the game that my buddy Dark Flame Wolf made. Then I get around to Mighty Number 9, it's like, this is like watered down.
I think that, like, I'm a huge Mega Man fan. And I took it as being like, I enjoy it about as much as I enjoy, like, Mega Man 1. Which is, like, not exactly great, but it was the beginnings of the series, and I kind of hope that they get to do a sequel and do it better the second time around, because Mega Man 2 is better than Mega Man 1,
Yeah.
But if they do a sequel, don't crowdfund it, because that was a fucking mess.
Not exactly the smartest idea.
It was a great idea, it's just that the way that they did the crowdfunding campaign, first of all, everybody's expectations were way high. And secondly, too many delays. And thirdly, the biggest problem of all was that they started crowdfunding another game before Mighty Number 9 was even released. And that pissed people off.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, where the hell is Mighty Number 9 at?
Yeah, you're asking for money for this game, Red Ash, and it's like, whoa, one thing at a time here, Number 8 is Homefront: The Revolution. I'm not familiar with this.
Sounds like a shoot.
All right. Okay, so what are they saying about it? Yeah, they're just kind of saying it sucks and it's a sequel to a game that wasn't that good and nobody asked for it. All right, fair enough. Number 7 is Battleborn. I'm not really familiar with this. I mean, I've heard the name Battleborn, but I don't know anything about it.
It's the first I've heard of it, so I can't judge.
Yeah. Number 6 is Bombshell, which looks like the greatest game 2007 had, maybe. It just looks dated, yeah. And apparently, Bombshell was kind of supposed to be a Duke Nukem game, and then they had to retool it. So, there you go.
That explains a lot.
Number 5 is Alekine's Gun. What is this? I've never even heard of this one. Alright. So apparently, this game was announced back in 2010, and it was called Death to Spies 3. And I guess everybody was playing it in early access, and shit was saying, this shit sucks, just stop what you're doing, don't even release this bullshit. And they pushed it out anyway.
Yeah.
So it is kind of a douchey move, I guess. And number 4 is Battlefield 1. A Battlefield game that's bad! So apparently, they say, you know what's douchier than creating a bad game or a game loaded with technical issues? charging $130 for a game without including the actual game disc.
That is kind of a douchey thing to do.
So apparently there was a special collector's edition exclusive to Amazon. They released a box set that included a patch, exclusive DLC, a 14-inch statue, a poster, a steelbook, and even a deck of playing cards, but not the actual game itself or even a digital copy of it. So you could spend $130 on all the bullshit that normally comes with special editions, but not actually get the game. I'm flabbergasted. How was that allowed to happen?
I don't know, but they somehow did it.
Number 3 is I don't know if this really counts. This is just a game that somebody made and then like in Mugen and put it out for free on the internet. It's Harambe versus Capcom.
Oh my god!
I mean, it's just like it's like a meme thing. I agree that the joke has gone on too long, but at the same time, I mean, this is, like I said, just some guy made this and put it on his website. It's not like you had to pay for it, you know. Number 2 is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, because I guess if you're going to bitch about putting Modern Warfare Remastered, you might as well bitch about it twice.
That's the douchier part of it, if you make the list twice.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I like Infinite Warfare. I haven't finished it yet because I got so much shit going on, but it's a pretty fucking fun game. And finally, number 1, I couldn't agree with this more, No Man's Sky. Yeah.
Well, who didn't see that one coming?
No Man's Sky is so disappointing to people that Steam is giving people refunds no matter how much they've played the game. Like, normally there's a limit. Like, you have to have played it, like, only, 2 hours or less or something like that.
Wish they'd let me do that for Resident Evil HD Remaster.
Oh,
not because it's a bad game, but because the specs are so like, my ROG can't even power it.
It's a bad port.
It's a very bad port. My buddy gifted it to me to do a Let's Play on it last year, and I did. But we ended up using the PlayStation. He gifted it to me twice, once on Steam and once on PlayStation 3. He wanted me to do it so bad, and I finally did it on PlayStation 3. But the PC port, he looked up the specs. He's like, dude, what graphics card do you have? And I said a 1060, and this is NVIDIA. And he's like, you need at least a 1080. And I'm like, I'm not spending $300 extra bucks just for 20 points extra.
A 1080?
That's what it said.
For a remaster of a game that came out on fucking GameCube?
Pretty much.
That can't be right. Hold on, I gotta look into this shit. Wow.
I know, right? But
Resident Evil HD Remaster, I guess specs is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
This says GTX 560.
I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know. I just know I got a 1060 in mine.
You should be fine, man.
The frame rate's only like 10 by second, though.
Well, maybe it's just poorly optimized. It could be like Arkham Knight was, you know?
Yeah.
Because this is from CinemaBlend.com. It says GTX 560, and I'm like, man, I got the 980, and I run anything, you know?
I don't know. Crazy. I just know when I ordered that laptop that you helped me pick out, the ROG.
And you've obviously did some upgrades.
I spent the extra $200 and got the 1060.
You might as well. You might as well if you're running a gaming channel and
they wanted $500 extra for the 1080.
No, at that point you might as well just buy it yourself and install it. That's bullshit.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I did.
Yeah. All right. Well, out of 15, I don't agree with everything on the list, but I get where I'm kind of a little salty that let's put Call of Duty on there twice. That's kind of stupid. But I'll give it a 10. What do you say, Peyton?
I'll say 10 too.
Yeah. All right. I got a fast food related list here. I looked at a little bit of this. I haven't read the whole thing. I read the beginning parts, and then I was like, no, I got to do some list credits. It's 17 McDonald's employees reveal the strangest requests they've ever gotten.
Oh, this should be interesting.
Have you ever worked in fast food at all, Peyton?
Thankfully, no.
And I did when I was 17. I worked at Wendy's, and we got some weird-ass people in there asking for some weird-ass shit, you know? But this is specifically McDonald's, so it should be interesting. McDonald's menu hasn't changed in, like, ages, you know? Like, every once in a while they'll have some, like, random new thing that'll last a few months, so it should be interesting. Alright, let's see. Okay, so number one, I guess we're starting with number one. Back when I worked at McDonald's, I would often work drive-thru. One night, a group of kids came in and ordered a Big Mac, fries, a Stealth Bomber, and a large Coke. Without that's funny. Without batting an eye, I said, okay, that'll be $12,453,917,221.40. Please pull up to the first window. There was kind of an awkward pause, and they said, how much is it without the bomber? I like it.
I gotta ask Rosanna about this. She's playing Celis in my Final Fantasy VI Let's Play. She is a manager of 3 McDonald's here in town.
Oh, so she's probably got some great customer stories.
I gotta ask her sometime later today. But
yeah. I mean, anybody who's a fast food manager, especially if like a regional manager like that, they probably got some great stories.
Oh yeah.
Okay, number 2 here. Many years ago, back when McD's cooked special orders when they came in, not from pre-cooked batches of meat soaking in hot water or laying under warmers. They don't do that. Okay. I was working a grill and we got an order for a rare quarter pounder. What? No cheese, condiments, or bun. The meat patties came frozen, so I put a patty on the grill and let cook for about half the normal time, serving it up seared nicely, but clearly rare in the middle. All right. I'm going to pause here for a second. I thought McDonald's wasn't even allowed to do that shit.
They're not.
That's what I thought. I'm kind of calling bullshit on this, but let's see what he says. Put in a box and sent it up. Guy who ordered it got mad and said he wanted it rare, not cooked. It was the end of a stressful day and I was irate at having to do it again, so I took a new patty to the back sink and sprayed hot water on it until it was a pile of meaty, soggy goo and set it up. Guy opened the container, seemed satisfied, and headed out the door. Curious, I followed it out and saw him let his dog out of the... Oh, it was for a dog. Flipped the patty on the ground and let him chow down and then got in the car and left. Expensive way to feed your dog. I mean, if it's a special treat, though.
That kind of makes me, that kind of made me go from pissed off to, oh.
Yeah, but McDonald's not supposed to do that. If you want to give your dog a little special treat, go get a fucking thing of hamburger patties at the supermarket. You know what I mean? That's bullshit. All right. Number 3, I worked at McDonald's for 2 years and met a lot of really strange people. For the record, I'm referring to my colleagues, though, not so much the customers. As for the strangest order, it wasn't anything too exciting, really. It was more the reaction of the girl at the front counter. Remember the McDLT, the hot side hot, the cold side cold? Well, somebody came in and ordered a McDLT with no meat. That is funny. And for some odd reason, this seemed to be the funniest thing the girl behind the counter had ever heard, and she started laughing, and she couldn't stop. The assistant manager had to step in, apologize, and put the order in for her. A close second might have been the senior citizen who came in every day and always wanted a little bit of water in a cup so that he could water the plant in our lobby. The plant was plastic. I'm serious. Anyway, one day this dear fellow was excitedly telling me how big and leafy the plant was getting. I didn't have the heart to tell him, so I just told him what a great job he'd been doing. Well, there you go. That is funny, though.
That's kind of depressing, actually.
Which one, the DLT without meat or the old guy watering the fake plant?
The old guy watering the fake plant.
Yeah, if it makes him happy.
Yeah?
Doesn't bother me none. Number 4, fries and whipped cream. Someone literally came into McDonald's store, asked for medium fries and some whipped cream, then watched her dipping the fries in the cream. I don't know about in the United States, but in Australia, that's extremely unusual.
Yeah?
It's unusual here in the United States, too. This person actually has several examples. So, woman came into my store, ordered a medium Big Mac meal with Coke, fairly standard, then orders a 6-piece chicken McNugget Happy Meal with apple juice and barbecue sauce. And is that the boy or girl toy today, ma'am? Oh no, we don't take toys from McDonald's. It teaches children to idolize the bourgeois and big corporations. Oh God, that's where you say, okay, here's your Happy Meal, goodbye. She then spent the next 2 minutes lecturing me on Marxist doctrine. Oh God, this person got sucked into the vortex.
Change it quick.
It wasn't busy, but it was pretty amusing actually. However, all the time I kept thinking the sumo salad is over there if you want your organic, vegan, GMO-free salad to complement these views. Why even take your kids to McDonald's? And this person gives another example. I thought going above and beyond what McDonald's workers are taught was a good thing, so I always refer to the customers as sir and ma'am. Turns out in 2016 this wasn't good enough to some people. Someone got offended because I called them ma'am when biologically they appeared female, when they actually preferred XI as their preferred pronoun. I don't know how you pronounce that. Z. And
Z,
finally,
yeah.
I know veggie meal. I know veggie burgers are a thing in some countries, but in Australia it isn't. Why order a Big Mac with no meat? I work at a food court. The place 3 meters behind you makes vegetarian wraps. There's falafels from the kebab shop 15 meters that way. There's about 4 shops with different vegetarian options. I don't understand your logic, but hey, it pays me, so whatever. Maybe they just got to chow on that Big Mac sauce, you know?
People are weird.
You know, Armageddon Time. Well, you know, Jesse, you met him when we did List Critics End of Year special. He told me a story about. He knows these 2 people that are vegans, and he was telling me this story about how they went to not McDonald's but Wendy's, and he was trying to just, you know, peacefully eat his chicken sandwich, and they started hassling him about, you know, meat is murder and all this crap, and I'm like, then why the fuck were they at Wendy's? You know? And oh, well, they like the fries. Like, all right, well, just buy a potato then. It seems stupid. Number 5, I worked at McDonald's in high school in a very Christian town and frequently worked a late shift. One night I was at the window with a headset and 2 girls pulled up in a truck. They made a pretty typical order, but for their fudge sundae they asked for lots of nuts. We just love nuts in our mouths and all over. They pulled up to the window. Turns out there are 2 very religious girls who sit next to me in choir. I have never seen anyone so embarrassed. Looking back, I probably should have ordered them some extra nuts at some later point. Well, you know,
Sounds delish.
Preacher's daughter and all that, right? Okay, number 6 here. Every day the same woman took at least 4 or 5 minutes to order. It was always, literally always the same thing, yet she acted as if she might give us a break from this crazy foolishness that we catered to needlessly, in my opinion, but whatever, it was a franchise, so. She'd finally say, I'd like a small order of fresh fries with no salt at all. Please clean out the bin and the grease so there was not a speck of salt or any fries that are too crispy. Okay, not so weird, until she pulled up and never ceased to add this one at the second window after paying. Oh yeah, and 1 single hamburger patty patted down with paper towels to get as much grease out as possible. You see, these are for my schmookums. And the lapdog always had its tongue in her mouth. Every morning.
Jeez.
You know, I'm a dog person, but people like that shouldn't have dogs. I'm just saying.
I'd be afraid for him.
Yeah, that dog is probably just frightened for his life. Number 7. Oh my, back when dinosaurs roamed the earth and brick cell phones were the stuff of science fiction, I worked at a McDonald's in order to get some extra money as a high school student. They put me up front at the register where I would keep inside all the chuckles from people asking for cheeseburgers without cheese, cheeseburgers with cheese. But the award winner was the guy that wanted a Whopper. That day, I had worked the morning shift and was in the lull right after breakfast when this well-dressed young man comes in with a very pretty young woman dressed for a night out, both apparently very into each other. In and of itself, this was odd not only because of the time of day, but because this particular McDonald's was in the banking district where people generally do not go after a long night of partying. Still, they seemed lucid and clear-headed, so with a smile I welcomed them to McDonald's and asked to take their order. The girl is very friendly and asks for a pretty standard combo with a shake. She offers to pay, but the guy says that he will pay, to which the girl and I exchange a glance of, ooh, big spender, before the guy steps up and asks for a Whopper. Not just a Whopper, he wanted, and I will remember the order to the day I die, a Whopper with bacon, no onion, no lettuce, extra mayo, a large order of onion rings, and a large Pepsi. Yes, he ordered a Whopper at McDonald's. Sir, I explained, assuming he has somehow made a mistake, this is McDonald's. We have Big Macs and Coke. You can get a Whopper and Pepsi at Burger King. I know. He smiles, pulls out $50, and points it at me. Whopper with bacon, no onion, no lettuce, extra mayo, a large order of onion rings, and a large Pepsi. Keep the change. Okay, so he's showing off. I get it. I get it. I like it. I rang up the girl's order. This is good. I like this one. I rang up the girl's order, took the $50, counted out the change, showed it to the guy, and I said, I'll be right back. Turned to my supervisor and said, I'll be taking my break now before I ran to the back out the back to the nearby Burger King just a block away. I almost got hit crossing the road, went through the lobby of a bank, got to the counter of the Burger King. Luckily there was no line, and well, just picture it. This tiny girl in a McDonald's uniform at Burger King, out of breath, ordering a Whopper with bacon, no onion, no lettuce, extra mayo, a large order of onion rings, and a large Pepsi. To make it even stranger, one of my teachers was there waiting for her order. She turns to me and says, "Bacon, aren't you Muslim, Rita?" "God is merciful, forgiving, and very generous," was my response. Good reply. I paid, took the order, and ran back to McDonald's, arriving just as the girl's order was about to be placed on the counter. Thank goodness for the slow mid-morning changeover. I took the bag, put everything on the tray, put it on the counter, and said, "Here's your order, sir. Thank you for choosing McDonald's." The guy is shocked. The girl is amazed. The rest of the crew is smiling. The guy says, "I thought you took my money and ran." "No, sir, I took my money and ran. Have a nice day." Well, she earned it, huh? Damn. Gotta try that one. Let's go to McDonald's and order Taco Bell. All right, number 8 here. I was working drive-thru and a man came through and ordered the following: 1 double quarter pounder, no cheese with regular meat, no ketchup, no mustard, add mac sauce with sweet chili sauce. Fries cooked to black, lettuce on the side with mayo drizzled on top, and a 6-nugget Happy Meal with no nuggets, just the box. That is fucking weird.
I think he took that one guy's drugs.
Well, I guarantee you the guy who wanted the Happy Meal without the actual food was probably a toy collector. I don't get the burning the fries, and I don't know what regular meat means. Do they have non-regular meat at McDonald's?
No, they don't actually. It's all just one big meat, unless you count like a sausage patty.
Yeah, but that's breakfast. I don't think you had a choice of meat there. That's weird. All right, well, number 9. The strangest request I ever got was also really sad. We had an older couple who were obviously unwell that would come in for the breakfast menu on a semi-regular basis, but they would repeat their order, eating their meals again and again until they ran out of money and left. Okay, I think I know where this is going. It turned out they were residents at a nearby nursing home and both suffered from dementia. They would have clarity long enough to elope for a day out together, but would then relapse and forget that they'd eaten. The home staff had spent months trying to figure it out, why they had no appetite for a day or two after their abscondments, until they managed to catch them in the act and follow them. Well, hey, at least it made them happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of sad, though. I saw where that was going. They obviously had mental problems. Number 10. I've had my fair share of strange requests at McDonald's. Before I started, I have worked at 2 stores over 2 years. The first store was in a proper region compared to where I lived, and the second was in an airport food court. Strange request 1. This one time it was lunch, but not very busy. These 2 young kids who looked nervous came to the store. They handed me a credit card saying, "Can we please take out $500? I knew these kids were up to something, so I said to them, you need a PIN to withdraw money. They both looked at each other, so I called from the manager. We ended up confiscating the card and handing it to the police. I don't think you could withdraw money at McDonald's. That's very weird. Strange request number 2. This was at the airport. We were twice as busy as my old store, with this one making 2,200 orders per day. So imagine this, in the heat of the moment, with 20 employees all rushing around to make 20 backed up orders, someone's orders this: 24 double quarter pounders. The order was over...
Jesus.
I mean, wow. The order was over $150 and paid it all in cash. We get this sometimes, so it's not that unusual. I tell him to wait about 10 to 15 minutes as we were very busy, and he has a massive order. 20 minutes later, his 24 burgers came in about 5 large bags until he says, "Can I get each burger in its own bag and that bag inside of another bag?" The fuck? So I had no choice but to waste 48 perfectly good bags on this one guy's request. I watched the Chinese family eat at the tables, and they threw away all the bags, which filled up the bin. So why did they want all the bags if they were just going to fucking toss them out?
Like I said, some people are dumb.
That was weird. Why did they want bags at all if they were going to eat it right there? I don't get it. All right, number 11. I was a morning biscuit maker during the summer between my junior and senior years in high school. We had an old man who came in literally every single day and ordered 2 burnt biscuits and a coffee. I guarantee this guy was in the military. Then he would sit in the dining area by himself, dipping his burnt biscuits into his coffee and eating them. The story I heard was that I was right. He was a World War II Navy veteran, and he learned to like burnt biscuits with coffee in the Navy. Either way, we just cooked them to twice to burn them. It was easy. When I worked at Wendy's, we would get these like old guys that were in the military that had weird tastes. Like they would want you to like put the bacon in the deep fryer until it was like blackened.
Jeez.
Yeah, just, hey, whatever, man. You know, like, hey, you want it that way? You can do it. Whatever. Number 12. One of my colleagues at McDonald's was a guy named Leon. He had a reputation for being slow, but he did his job as well, and as far as I know, he got along well with everybody. Once, when business was slow, Leon turned to me and said, "Did you know I'm psychic?" It sounded like he was having fun with me. "Oh, you're psychic, huh?" "Yeah." We saw a car parking outside. "See this car pulling up? That guy's going to get a Filet-O-Fish meal." "A Filet-O-Fish meal." "Yeah." The driver came in. He was in his 30s or 40s, wiry and on the short side of average with a sort of small dog intensity. What are you typing?
Somebody, DKS3A was asking me a question.
Oh, okay. "Welcome to McDonald's. How can I help you? Can I see their manager?" He pulled out a badge. "I'm a detective. I need to ask some questions about that kid who got shot in a nearby town." This was a story that I'd heard people talking about earlier that day. I fetched the shift manager, who spoke to him for a few minutes. As I helped drive through orders and clean whatever still needed to be cleaned, I wondered about what the detective expected to learn there. Was one of the employees involved? Did the victim have a connection to the store? Was the guy even really a detective? After he left, all I could say was, "Wow." Leon said, "Yeah, I was way off."
Jeez.
That's like a fucking scene out of a bad comedy. Like they would have put that in Clerks 2 and then like deleted it from the movie. Number 13. I worked there with 6 of my friends, so we got a little silly. The usual drive-through script of "Welcome to McDonald's, can I take your order?" was replaced with "Welcome to McDonald's, can I fork your daughter?" I like it. Most customers didn't listen to or notice, but 1 in 10 said, "What did you say?" To which we would respond in a slow, annoyed, bored, punishing monotone, "Welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order?" Our managers listened to the drive-thru and found this scenario hilarious. We were encouraged and never reprimanded. There isn't a lot of room for deviation from the norm there. It's the brilliance of the McDonald's system. But the funniest request was from a man perceptive enough to notice and clever enough to respond to our dumb joke with, "My daughter is deceased. Please never ask me that again." Something about the interaction, which was now 25 years ago, left me with the impression that he didn't have a dead daughter and he was just trying to make us feel bad. In any event, it worked. We never did it again.
What a dick.
Which one? The one saying that or the guy?
Yes.
Yeah, both. Yeah. Okay, good answer. Number 14. I've been working at McDonald's for the past 2 years, and I work out the back, so I assemble and make the burgers. Around a month ago, I received an order of a double quarter-pounder burger. That's half a pound of meat in the burger already, whopping in at 760 calories, around 1/3 of your daily intake. I make lots of these each day, so nothing out of the ordinary. Except this son of a bitch ordered an extra 3/4 pound meat patties on his burger.
Whoa.
That's 1.25 pounds, over half a kilogram of greasy meat in that burger, with an added 3 slices of cheese between the patties. To make matters worse, he had it with fries and a Diet Coke.
What's the point of getting a Diet Coke?
You know, I would get these guys, like, when I worked at Wendy's, I'd get these, like, really, like, fat guys who come in, and they would order, like, a ridiculous amount of food. They were, like, 2 doubles and 3 chilies and, like, fries with cheese and all this, and they would go Diet Coke. And I'm not judging anything. I'm like, it's a mind-numbing job. I'm 17 and I don't give a shit, so I wouldn't make any comments or anything. So I'd just be, like, punching it in. They'd be like, "And a Diet Coke." And then before I would say anything or react in any way, they'd go, "Hey, I just like it for the taste, okay?" I'm like, all right, man, I don't care. You know? Who gives a shit? Personally, I think Diet Coke tastes like shit, but whatever you like. I did have this one family come in. It's a nice-looking black family, and there were 5 of them. There was parents and 3 sons, and they all ordered the triple, which is a ridiculous amount of food by itself. So I had to call back 5 triples, which, if you think about it, is 15 quarter-pounders. And
Right.
And they were all skinny.
It must work out.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. They, like, hey, that if you could eat like that and be skinny, good for you.
Yeah.
Number 15. Many years ago, I worked at McDonald's in North Carolina. After taking an order in the drive-thru, I told the customer their total was $6.66. They freaked out and asked if it were too late to order more food so that they could have a different total. Also, there was a time when I was cleaning out the playground area and a mom came up to me and asked me to get her kid out of the ball pit. I'm sorry, what? I replied. My kid, he won't come out of the ball pit and it's time to go. I was only 15 at the time and didn't know what to do, so I went and stood at the entrance to the ball pit and said, like I was talking to a dog, "Come here, little guy." That's it. It doesn't follow up on what happened next.
What happened? Did you get hold at him?
First of all, who the fuck goes to the McDonald's people to say, "Get my kid"? No, you get your damn kid out of the ball pit. But I want to know, come here, little guy. I want to know what happened. Oh, don't leave me hanging. All right, well, number 16, I worked at McDonald's throughout college, and I almost always worked in the drive-thru because I could process orders so quickly almost every weekend night. Working drive-thru at the time required you to keep up to 4 orders in your head and work 2 cash registers at once. Wow, they had it bad back then, huh?
Yeah.
It's all computers now. Besides taking all the orders, I was also in charge of talking to the manager and grill staff, letting them know what the lines were like when large groups of people came into the parking lot, and occasionally calling in production, make 12 hamburgers, drop chicken nuggets in the fryer, etc. when big orders came through. I had to know how long things took to prepare so I could make sure no drivers waited for food. One night, a typically busy night with cars around the building, traffic, a man in his station wagon pulled up to the menu. I could hear several kids in the car with him shouting their requests. He ordered several Happy Meals, all different of course, 2 adult meals, and then extra milk. When he got to my window, he said, "Hi, how are you?" to me, which was typical, and then put his car in park. Not a good sign. He then turned his back on me and leaned over the passenger side of the seat. I began to realize that he had an infant in the seat there and was changing his or her diaper. I said, "Sir, your total is..." He said, "Yeah, just a minute," as I anxiously watched the cars in front of him pull away so that there was no one left in the next window. My teammates waited with all this food there, poking their head out to see what was going on. He continued to fiddle with the diaper while my manager started talking in my headset asking what the holdup was, and cars piled up behind him started honking. Eventually, after what seemed like an hour, he turned around and offered me a folded, bulging plastic diaper. I pulled away from it, flinching. I'm pretty sure I made a horrified face because I was 18 and the thought of baby waste was about the grossest thing I could imagine, and he said, "Take it or I ain't paying." So I took the diaper, put it in my trash can, took his money, and gingerly made change with the fingers that had not touched the diaper. Okay, first I shouldn't have taken the diaper.
Exactly. I would have said, "Bye, Felicia."
I mean, you're a fucking food restaurant. You shouldn't be dealing with it. You say, "No, you get the fuck out of here, man." That was the worst request ever. I still remember flying through the back of the restaurant, hollering at my manager, "Take the next car, I have to wash my hands," running out to the front through the restaurant into the bathroom so I could vomit. Ah, memories. Fast food work. I do not recommend it. Oh, that's pretty bad. Wow.
I see. He still. I wouldn't be surprised if he lost his job after that. In all honesty.
Yeah. He shouldn't have taken the diaper. That's I don't care what the customer says. You can't bring poop into the store like that. All right. Finally, number 17. I worked at McDonald's and Walmart for 3 months after turning 16. There was a middle-aged lady that would walk in daily and order 1 McDouble, only meat, cheese, and onions. Sounds pretty normal, but no. Only meat, cheese, and onions. She didn't want the bread because carbs are bad or something like that. We would lay down a patty, cheese, patty, and then top it with onions. It went in a pancake platter. This woman put me on an entirely new level of confused. She was eating McDonald's without the bread because of carbs. Carbs are the least you have to worry about when eating at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, actually, the McDouble doesn't have all that many calories, and if you're taking the bread out of it, it's even less. It's really not that bad. But
just something to help her stomach out while she goes around shopping.
Yeah, whatever, right? Walmart though. All right, so that's the whole thing. I'm very entertained by that. Out of 17, I'm gonna say 15. What do you say?
I'll say 13. A couple of them were just like, what?
Well, I think that was the point that they were like, what the fuck, right?
No, more like, what the fuck? How's this funny?
Oh, okay. All right, let's see here. Okay, so I have this list from Cyberbreeze. It's 12 celebrities that decided to take normal jobs, or I guess you would say former celebrities that now just like work as normal people or whatever. So I thought this might be interesting. Let's see.
Let's hear it.
Number 12 is Frankie Muniz. You know who he is?
Nope.
That was that kid from Malcolm in the Middle.
Nope.
You remember that show, though, right?
I've heard of it, but I've never watched it.
Okay, well, he was Malcolm in the Middle. I heard he retired when he was like 19. It says that he's a drummer in a band now.
Cool.
Well, there you go. I gotta click the next page already. Jesus. Number 11 is John Gosselin. He was on that. Oh, that's the guy from John and Kate Plus 8. That's John. Apparently, he got divorced, and he is now a waiter at TGI Fridays.
Wow, talk about a fall from grace.
To be honest, being on a reality show on TLC about having 8 kids is hardly grace, so it's more like out of the frying pan and into the dumpster.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Number 10 is Taron Noah Smith. Who the hell is this? Oh, he was the youngest kid on Home Improvement. So what is he doing?
Okay, now that kid I do know.
So what is he doing now? He started a non-dairy cheese manufacturer / vegan restaurant with his wife, Heidi, called Play Food, and that went out of business. So now he is the captain of a charter sailboat. Wow. That is 3 very different career paths. Child actor, vegan restaurant owner, captain of a ship.
Huh?
They're not even closely related at all. Wow.
Not really.
Not even a little bit. Number 9 is Chris Owen. Okay, the picture looks familiar. Who is he? Oh, he's from American Pie. So I guess he's a waiter at a sushi restaurant now.
I'm trying to remember, is he the one that had sex with the MILF?
I don't know. I never watched American Pie, to be honest. I'll be honest with you. I never seen it. Everybody always tells me. You've never seen American Pie, and I'm like, no, I never seen it.
Let's just say it's one of those movies where if you were a teenager and you saw it, it was awesome. But as an adult, it's like, what is this?
Yeah. Oh, number 8 is Vanilla Ice. I mean, yeah. What the hell? I gotta know what he's doing. Let's see, because he tried like a couple of different tries at music. He tried rap. He sucked at that. Tried heavy metal. He sucked at that. He tried reggae. He sucked at that. What is he doing now? Real estate.
Yeah.
He has a real estate advice website. Who'd have thunk it, huh?
The thing is, though, he's still rapping. I mean, he does the Gathering of the Junglos every year, at least.
Well, that's... Yeah, and and I've heard of him. You know, like how he was in, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and that was like he did the song for that and everything. Apparently, that wasn't just... Like, he is a huge TMNT fan, apparently. And he collects all the memorabilia and shit, and he has, like, all this rare stuff and everything. So... I saw him on YouTube, it's like at some convention, and they were asking him about Secret of the Ooze, and he was talking about all this stuff that he has and how he's such a huge fan of it. And so there you go. But real estate, wow, it's not what I expected. Number 7.
I wonder if it's here in town because he's from Dallas. So.
Oh, okay. Number 7 is Peter Ostrom, another. You probably don't recognize the name, but he was Charlie Bucket in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, he's now a veterinarian, right?
That is what it says. He's a veterinarian. Well, hey, whatever. Cool.
Hey, he actually made some advancements in the veterinarian field, actually.
Wow. Wonder if he ever found a golden ticket that a dog swallowed or whatever. Number 6 is Josh Saviano. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
That was Paul in the Wonder Years.
Yeah,
that Millhouse looking kid.
Oh yeah.
There used to be a rumor that he grew up to be Marilyn Manson. That's obviously not true.
That would have been creepy.
He does. There is a resemblance. Like if you look at Marilyn Manson without all the makeup, and then you look at this kid, like you could see a resemblance. But he's a lawyer, so there you go.
Cool.
He looks like a lawyer. So. Number 5 is Danny Tamborelli. I don't even know who this guy is. Apparently he's another child actor. He was on a bunch of Nickelodeon shows. He looks. You know what he looks like? I'm gonna get hate for this. He looks like Chumlee's gay brother.
Oh God.
That's what he looks like. Hold on, I gotta show you a picture of this guy, and you're gonna have to agree with me that this looks like Chumlee's gay brother. I'm gonna send it to you on Facebook because Skype is fucking.
All right,
There you go. Did you get it?
All right, Cyber. Let's load now. Oh my God.
Doesn't he look like gay Chumlee?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Apparently, he is a singer in a rock band now.
Cool.
Okay. That's still kind of a minor celebrity, I guess, if anybody's ever heard of his band. It's called Jounce. Number 4 is Kirk Cameron. This fucking guy.
Okay, I know where this is going.
What a douchebag. Well, yeah, he's trying to spread the word of God, but he's doing it in the most ass way possible. I mean, I'm not a Christian, but I'm like, hey, you want to be whatever you want to be. That's cool. I'm pretty easygoing about it, but this guy's a fucking douchebag. He still makes movies. That's the sad part. He did that Saving Christmas. That was just a fucking mess. Number 3 is Nikki Blonsky. Who the hell is she? She's the chubby girl from Hairspray.
Oh, I gotta hear this.
What are you doing? She's a hairstylist.
Well.
Okay. Well, you were in a movie called Hairspray. Maybe she was researching. I don't know. Wow. Okay.
Must be a good job.
Yeah. Number 2 is Jeff Cohen. He was Chunk in the Goonies.
Oh.
He's a lawyer. He's
Cool.
a lawyer, and he occasionally writes for Huffington Post and CNBC.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, that's very different.
Really different.
And number 1 is Dylan Sprouse, who is one of those Disney kids. And what is he doing? He's a waiter. He's a waiter in a restaurant in New York City. Doesn't even say what restaurant.
Maybe that's for the best, because, I mean, there's a lot of high-class restaurants out there that pay actually pretty good.
Yeah, you know what, especially in New York City, man. Yeah, definitely. I mean, he might be making more money now. Well, that being said, it was interesting. The term celebrity was used a little loosely for some of these, but out of 12, I'll give it a 10 out of 12. What do you think?
I'll say 7, because half of them I didn't know, so.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else I got here.
It could be worse. Most of them end up doing porn.
Well, look, I looked through that whole list, and there's not a single person there that I wanted to see naked, so.
I remember that chick from Saved by the Bell doing that show, Showgirls.
Oh, yeah.
She has a nice crack.
Hey,
that was
look,
about it.
I've seen that movie a few times. I have no idea what the plot is, but I've seen it a few times.
It's all about the boobs. It's all about the puppies.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it was about. I mean, everybody, it got such bad reviews, and I'm like, people were taking this shit seriously?
Who gives it? If porn was reviewed, it would all be shit on. So
I mean, to be fair, like if you're taking it at like Showgirls as a porno, it was pretty fucking good. I mean,
softcore and everything.
Yeah, I enjoyed what I saw. So there you go. I have another food service related list. I actually meant to do this on the end of year special, but we didn't get around to it. It's 18 people dish on their most horrific dining experiences. Now, before I start, do you have a horrific restaurant experience to share, Peyton?
I went to a Chili's down in San Antonio with my then girlfriend.
Already a bad choice.
And they did everything all right, but it wasn't until we got the bill, and supposedly they mixed up our bill with somebody else.
Ooh.
And I'm sitting there freaking out because I only had $50 on me at the time. It was Thursday.
Well, for 2 people, you don't expect to pay that much at like some place like Chili's.
Well, I ordered baby back ribs. She ordered chicken, and we drank like beer like it was crazy.
Yeah, but there's no way that comes out to $50. So that's obviously a mistake. So how much was it?
They ended up, what they did was they switched our tickets with somebody else. Like, our meal was only supposed to be around, like, $40 at the most.
Yeah, but what was
All
the
right.
amount that you got that panicked you?
$418.
Jesus. Well, so you're telling me there was some table there that ordered that amount of food and drinks or whatever? Holy shit.
Yep. So I'm freaking out. Next thing you know, they hand me an apron. I go in the back. My girlfriend's freaking out. And 6 hours later, I come out, and they said, "Oh, we're very sorry. We messed up your tickets. The people came back and swapped it." And
Wait,
I said,
so they actually did like in like old like I Love Lucy episodes. Oh well, you could wash dishes or whatever.
"Yeah,
I
it
thought
was
that
either
was
that or
just
go to jail."
I thought that was something from like TV. But didn't you think at some point to say, hey, there's two of us. We had two meals. How the fuck is it this much money?
I said the same thing. I kept arguing with them for about an hour. Then finally they said, "Look, either pay the tab, go in the back with the apron, help us clean up, or we're calling the cops."
I've been like,
because the other family had apparently paid and left.
I'd have been like, oh, they lucked out, huh?
Pretty much, and then they came back 6 hours later, realizing, wait a sec, this was kind of cheap for what we got. And I get back there, but they apologized, gave me a $200 gift card to Chili's, and said, "Is this even?" And I said, "No."
Yeah, I mean, you should have gotten paid whatever wage they pay their people for working there. Plus, gotten the meal for free, and the I hate Chili's, man. I know that is a pretty. I mean, I have a bad restaurant experience. I was going to share, but I just say yours is worse. You win. That's pretty fucking terrible.
Now, luckily, I was just some 20-year-old kid with a certified nurse aid license. So I had the money, and I was getting paid the next day too. I was down there.
It's crazy. I mean, you must have dropped the load when you saw that fucking ticket.
Well, it definitely didn't help the sex that night either. So
I would imagine so. I mean, I gotta say, personally, when they would have threatened to call the cops, I'd been like, please call the police, because y'all are fucking trying to rob my ass.
Well, you gotta remember, I'm a paranoid guy that freaks out real easily.
Yeah, you gotta remember, I grew up in New York City. I don't play that shit. I did. I could get combative. All right, well, my story is bad, but it's not nearly as bad. I went to a restaurant with a friend of mine, and I didn't want to go there, but he wanted to go to this place. I knew it was a bad place, but I tried to order the one thing that I figured they couldn't fuck up, which was a turkey club sandwich. I mean, that's pretty standard shit, you know?
Yeah.
And the turkey was rotten. Like, it was so rotten that I could smell it before I would eat it. So obviously I didn't eat it. So it was like the smell of rotten ass turkey was wafting off the plate, and the waitress disappeared, and it took her a while to come back, and I'm like practically gagging here of this nasty meat, and I'm like, the turkey's rotten, I said to her, and she goes, yeah, I know. And I'm like, well, do you really expect me to eat this? And she's like, you want something else? And I'm like, to be honest, no. So I just watched my friend eat his hamburger, and then we got the hell out of there. I was no longer hungry. All right, well, let's see. I mean, I think yours is worse. You definitely win that one. But let's see about these 18 horrible dining experiences here.
Let's hear them.
All right, number one, went to IHOP, ordered an omelet with toast and orange juice. The waiter brought the cook out to look at me because the cook wanted to know what woman could eat all that food alone. They stood there and stared at me for a minute while I chewed on my toast. I made up a story about being pregnant and really hungry, and they were like, oh, okay, no tip. What?
Huh?
Wait, I know what really happened here. Peyton, you know what really happened? Is this chick's probably hot. And the waiter probably went back to the chef and was like, you gotta check this chick out. And he came out with some lame excuse just to get a load of her.
Oh, Jesus.
That's probably what happened. All right. Well, that was interesting. Number two, my wife and I went to Outback one night. Well, that's a mistake. After getting a gift card there. It was pretty empty, and we waited like 15 minutes to be seated. Once seated, every server walked right past us. Finally, after about 25 minutes, we just decided to walk out. As we were, a server finally saw us and took our order. After getting our food, I went to cut into my supposedly medium rare steak. Well, it was well done. I told the server, she just went, ugh, fine. I got it back, still well done. I asked to speak to a manager, and he proceeded to tell me I'm not a chef, so I should just let the cooks do their job. Wow. I then proceeded to ask for the district manager's phone, and when he refused, I called Outback Corporate on the phone. The manager got mad at me, saying I was being a wuss and stopped getting upset. Just so happens the CSR on the phone heard everything. She called the district manager, who told her to tell us to walk out and not even pay because Chuck said so. We did, but not before the manager threatened to have the cops called on us.
Jeez.
And I only went to Outback once, and it was a fucking terrible experience for me, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, holy shit. That's pretty bad. Number 3, ordered a drink at a patio last Wednesday. We got a new waitress. We were her first table of the night. We asked her to bring us the special, and when it arrives, we ask if it's any good. She replies it would taste better with a tip. What? We all shut up instantly, just dumbfounded by the audacity this waitress had. We didn't get served for another hour and a half, so we up and left. My buddy left her a note saying, here's a tip, don't be a bitch. Nice! Savage, I love it! Wow.
Beautiful.
Because damn, how do you expect to make tips if you're going to act like that? Holy shit.
Exactly.
Number 4 is a short one. Ordered a meal worth $20 at a fast food restaurant, and once our order came out, another person came and took it. We showed the receipt to the manager, proving it was ours, and they didn't do anything about it. Well, shit.
That's kind of a dick thing to do.
I've had that happen where I ordered food and they accidentally gave it to someone else, and then I would say, like, you just gave my food to some other person. And usually they're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, and they make it right usually. So I've had that happen.
Actually, last week when I went to Taco Bell, I ordered 5 of the nacho tacos, or double layer tacos, with no lettuce.
Okay.
They put lettuce on all of them,
All right.
and they're like, okay, here's your money back, and we're going to go in the back and make you 5 without lettuce. You can keep this, too. So I had 10 tacos, and I didn't pay a single dime.
Damn.
I'm like, you know what? This makes up for it.
Yeah, totally. Well, I've actually gone through the drive-thru at my local Taco Bell, just to order, like a nachos or something, and it'll take a little longer than usual because maybe they're short-staffed or whatever. And the people there are amazing. They'll be like, oh, we gave you, like, free cinnamon twists because it took a while. I'm like, hey, cool. I'll take it. Number 5, my wife and I moved cities at the beginning of February. With the hassle of moving, I forgot to make Valentine's reservations until a couple of days before the 14th. Being in a new city, I didn't know any restaurants, but there was a place near my work that looked nice. I called them up to make a reservation for 2. All good so far. So we show up on the 14th and the place is totally packed, which is to be expected. And I assume we're in for a bit of a wait. The hostess greets us, asks us how many, and starts leading us into the restaurant without asking my name or if I had a reservation. She leads us to a table in the back. It's a 4-person table. One side is a booth and the other has 2 chairs. It looks totally fine except for one problem. There are already 2 people sitting side by side in the booth. My wife says to the hostess, oh, there must be some mistake. We're not with these people. We had our own reservation for 2. The server replies, I shit you not, oh yeah, it's really busy tonight, so we're asking everyone to share tables. On Valentine's Day? You want to pull that bullshit?
That's kind of a douchey thing to do right there.
That reminds me of that Seinfeld episode, you know how to take a reservation, but I don't think you know how to keep a reservation. Wow. We both just sort of stared at her, so she reiterated how busy it was. My wife started arguing and made it clear this wasn't acceptable and that we'd either need a different table or we would just go elsewhere. During this time, another 4-top opens, so the hostess leads us there, acting like she's doing us a huge favor. I go to sit down, and my wife says to the hostess, hang on, are you just going to sit the next 2 people who walk in at this table with us? She replies, well, yeah, it's really busy tonight. Wow. We left and had a nice dinner at a cheap Mexican restaurant down the street. I've shared tables at restaurants before, but never at a place charging $35 for mains, and especially never after making a reservation for 2 on fucking Valentine's Day. Good Lord. I'm practically speechless at that one. That is fucked up. That place needs a visit from Gordon Ramsay badly. Number 6. Sorry, go ahead.
Did you ever watch that show Kitchen Nightmares?
Oh yeah, I love that show. That's why I said
you remember
that.
the 2-part episode ABC restaurant or something like that out of Arizona?
I was so fucking gobsmacked by that. I couldn't believe how crazy that bitch was.
They went out of business.
I'm not surprised by that.
Even my buddy, the Ultimate Gamer, who lives around the Phoenix area, he said that place is atrocious.
Yeah, I've never heard it, because I looked on Yelp to see what it's really like, and there were some pretty interesting stories on there. Let me tell you, like one person was just trying to order, like, not even food. They were getting drinks at the bar, and like 3 times in a row they gave him vodka with like dead flies in it.
Ew.
Yeah. Number 6. My dad once passed out in a restaurant, nothing to do with the food, and it was a place we used to go to quite a bit. An ambulance had to be called. As they had my dad on the stretcher, the waitstaff started arguing with my mother about their tip. We did not go back. I mean, look, I understand you make your living off tips. There's a bit of an emergency situation here. Yeah,
Kind of a dick thing to do, too.
That is seriously fucked up. Number 7. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You know, I understand the fact that sometimes you can't tip because, I mean, I've had to do that before where it's like,
Yeah.
dude, I just want to go. I've only got $10 and I'm all of your stuff is like $8 or $9. If I get a drink, I'm definitely not getting a tip.
See, I'm a very generous tipper, and like if I can't tip, I just won't go to a place like that. I go, all right, I'll go to McDonald's, you know. But I mean, like in a situation like that where you're loading your dad into an ambulance, it's like, fuck you. You don't need your tip right now. Like my dad's having a medical emergency here, you know?
Exactly.
And number 7, Mom's 48th birthday, we ate at a fancy restaurant near our house. Suddenly this kid runs by with his mother, stops, turns and faces us, and then proceeds to vomit in front of our table. It took a good 5 minutes before someone finally appeared to clean it. The fumes were wafting over our way as we were eating. What was the cleanup crew, you ask? Just a guy with a bucket and a mop. He spread the vomit all around the floor more than he cleaned it up. The kid was okay, but what got us is they didn't leave. The kid sat back down at the table and had dessert, and the restaurant didn't comp us at all. Nothing. Well, that's gross.
Huh. Very.
I mean, it's kind of not the restaurant's fault, but it's still gross. All right, number 8. There's a diner my friend and I used to go to all the time because I was unemployed and he was a generous soul. A few times a month he'd take me out to eat. But he worked late, so sometimes we'd be at this diner until 2 a.m. Most of the time, the service and food were excellent. But one time we ran into a few weird situations. The diner is Greek-owned, and the family that owns it trains their new staff at dark 30. So some of the wait staff were a little off. One time, they were remodeling the kitchen. My sundae had iron shavings in it. I alerted the waiter. What is it? My ice cream sundae has metal shavings in it. He became visibly agitated. Uh-huh, I see. You want it free, huh? Is that it? Actually, I'd just like another without shavings in it. Really? Is that all you want? He asked sarcastically. Then he started shouting to us in Greek, very angry. The manager heard this and came by to find out what was going on. Soon they were shouting at each other. It escalated quickly as the waiter tossed down his tray and stomped off to the kitchen where we heard a lot of crashing, shouting, and more crashing like someone was tossing metal things around. This is dinner and a show, huh? The manager excused himself when the sounds kept going. There was more yelling in Greek and English, more crashing, and finally it was quiet. All the employees in the diner went into the kitchen to look at the spectacle. Finally, the manager came out and said, I'm very, very sorry. Your entire meal is free, whatever you had, but I'm going to have to ask you to leave, not because you've done anything wrong, but because I'm about to fire that man, and I don't want him taking it out on you. So as we quickly left, we heard someone say something like, he's locked himself in the meat freezer. Does anyone have the key? That's not a horrible experience. That's an amazing experience. You'll never forget that shit.
At least the guy cared about him.
I mean, I go to a Greek diner sometimes, and they're pretty fucking cool people, you know? But I've never had an experience like that. Number 9, I bit into a burger that arrived at my table at Applebee's that was really pumped about. I was starving, so I was chewing and I realized something was off. I'm a stickler for texture. So I look at the burger and this huge bite I took. The center of the burger was so raw, it was like jelly. I played it cool. I waved my waiver over and told him. They were astonished this happened and sent it back. I got the burger back and could tell they had put it back on the grill to cook it again. Fine, whatever. I didn't expect a brand new one. I was starving. The first 2 bites were fine. It was the third. The third was jelly again. Fuck this burger. I still get goosies when I think about it. Well, I mean, Applebee's.
That sucks.
What do you fucking expect?
Like are they trying to kill the guy?
I mean, I like raw, not raw. I like rare meat, but if it's like raw, that's, you know, that ain't fun. That ain't fun at all. Number 10, this is a very short one. When I told my waitress that my cheeseburger was not plain as I wanted it to be, she took off the bun and started to scrape the condiments off with her hands. Ew.
Shit.
It's like something like from The Simpsons or something. That's like, you don't expect that to be real.
Exactly.
All right, number 11, I once went to Fridays with a group of coworkers on lunch break. I order a jalapeno burger. I am with about 4 other people, and we have to wait a really long time for everything to come out. Finally, our food arrives. I'm eating my burger thinking, man, this tastes really bland. I take the top bun off and discover this burger had no jalapenos. I am finally able to flag down our waitress and explain that my burger wasn't what I ordered. She says she will go tell the kitchen. I am literally waiting about 10 minutes. In the meantime, my lunch companions have all finished their food. The waitress finally comes back and says she told the cooks, but they wouldn't give her the jalapenos or make another burger. What the fuck? I'm quite mad at this time, and I asked to speak to the manager. He comes over and explains that it is Employee Appreciation Day, so they are short-handed. Most of the staff went to Six Flags. So he explained to me, and I quote, everyone isn't going to get what they want or the food that they ordered. Huh? If you can't cook what I order, you need to be closed. Craziest restaurant experience I ever had. I still can't believe he said that to me.
Why do you have it on the menu if you're saying, oh, we're not going to cook it?
You know what I don't understand is if the waitress goes back there and they're like, no, we're not doing it. Why would she go to the customers and tell them? Why doesn't she go to the manager and be like, these bitches are fucking me over?
Exactly. It's like, why? What's going on?
I mean, like,
it's not like she's back there cooking it.
It's a fucking couple of jalapenos. It's not that big of a deal. Number 12, I believe that I was the worst service in some poor family's story. Okay, this is interesting. I worked at a steakhouse, afternoon shifts, hardly any tables. A family of 6 comes in. I'm over there immediately asking for their drink orders, upselling our specials, offering appetizers, etc. I took their drink order, and before I left, they said the last time they were at this restaurant, their server had up and quit before putting in their order, and no one realized the mistake for a very long time, and this is their first time back. I assured them that I had no intentions on quitting. We valued their business, and I'll try to make this a great dining experience for them. I returned promptly with all the drinks and took their order. While on my way back to the kitchen, our horrible manager made a crack about me. I don't even remember what it was, probably something sexual. I told him to fuck off. He made a big deal that he's the manager. I can't talk to him like that. I'd starve without this job, so I'd better be a hell of a lot nicer to him, blah, blah, blah. After months of this prick being just that, a prick, I grabbed my shit and I walked out. Ooh. As soon as I'm driving home, feeling great about showing him that he can't talk to me like that, I'm reaching into my purse and I found that table's order. I still to this day wonder what happened, how long they sat there for no refills, no food, their server, nowhere in sight, and to learn that I just quit and they had to replace their order. That's what I feel bad about. Sorry, nice family. You know, how much you want to bet that the time before that, the waitress that quit was because that same manager?
Pretty certain.
Safe bet, right?
Yeah.
13. I went to one of my local Wendy's that had a sign at the drive-thru that said, we are out of the following: burgers, chicken sandwiches, chocolate frosty, fries, Sprite, Coke, potatoes, chili, garden salads, large cups, all condiments. Well, what did they have then? I took
why not just put a big closing sign up that says,
like,
sorry,
we're closed. Yeah. Just lock up at that point. I took a picture of the sign and posted it on my Facebook saying something like, seriously, Wendy's, what do you have? Then something creepy happened. I got an email from a Wendy's corporate person without ever going to their website and complaining. They apologized, said they saw my post on Facebook and would like to make amends. They offered me 10 free meals and gave me the names of the store owners to the 2 other local Wendy's chains in case I didn't want to return to the store in question. Well, that's good at least. But wow, so no burgers, no chicken, no fries, no Coke, potatoes, chili, or salads, or large cups. What is left?
Medium-sized cups.
Yeah, yeah, but they have no Coke.
Sprite.
No, they don't have Sprite either. I guess you got to get Dr. Pepper.
No.
You got to get Dr. Pepper and a fish sandwich. It's the only thing you can get. Holy shit. Jesse told me about one time he went to KFC and they didn't have chicken.
Wow.
And they're like, well, we have plenty of other options. And I'm thinking, yeah, look, like mac and cheese? I mean, no, chicken. Come on. That would be like, fuck you, I'm going to Popeyes. Yeah. All right, number 14. A new Italian place opened up in my hometown, so my parents, wife, and I went out one day for lunch. While taking our orders, the waitress turns and walks off without taking my order. It took another 5 minutes before she came back around so I could put my order in. When they came to bring out our soups, the waitress forgot mine. She apologized and left to go get it. After 5 minutes, she returned to check on our table, and I reminded her about the soup. She says she forgot and goes to the kitchen to get the soup. The manager comes out to say that they have to remake my soup and that it would be another 10 minutes. Once the food finally comes, my pasta is completely wrong. I ordered chicken Alfredo, and they brought me chicken marinara. Wow, they're not even the same color. I was so pissed at this point, I just ate what they brought. To top it all off, the $5 tip I left magically turned into a $15 tip when I got my bank statement. The waitress had forged a 1 onto my receipt. We called the restaurant and she was fired. In all honesty, the food was amazing, but the service was horrid. Never went back. The place was closed within 3 months. Not a surprise.
Who didn't see that coming?
Yeah. Number 15. I had to fast for 12 hours before a doctor's appointment because I had to get some blood work done. By the time I left the doctor's office, I hadn't eaten in close to 15 hours. I was starving. Let me preface this by saying that I'm a fat dude. I know I'm fat, and I'm working on losing weight, and I know this wasn't the healthiest option. Anyway, I pulled into a McDonald's to get a simple cheeseburger and small soda. I order and pull around to the first window. The girl grabs my debit card and says, "Are you sure you need to eat this?" I was like, "Excuse me?" And she goes, "You're already too fat to need to eat." Wow, what a bitch. I brushed the bitch off, pulled ahead, got my food, and immediately parked and went in to see the manager. Turns out she was the manager on duty. Needless to say, I escalated that shit through the franchise's main office and ended up with a ton of coupons for free stuff. Wow.
Free goodies.
There's somebody who didn't like their job very much, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, all man wanted was a goddamn cheeseburger. All right, number 16. Certain Asian eateries in New York City prefer you to eat their mistakes rather than fix your order. They will fight tooth and nail to never eat the cost. My meal was given to the wrong table, and my drinks never arrived. Instead, they tried convincing me to take the other person's order. When I refused and told them not to fix their mistakes, as I'll be grabbing a sandwich on the way back when my group finishes, they brought my meal out as soon as everyone finishes. As a result, everyone had to wait for me. Then they tried to charge me for my order, the corrected order, and the drink that never came.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a place. I wish you told the name of that so you wouldn't go back there ever. Number 17. When I was younger, my father and I went to Applebee's for some chicken wings. We were seated and placed our order with a rather disillusioned waiter. We ate subpar wings with a side of subpar service and received a bill of around $30, to which my father tipped 20%, as is his standard. After the waiter took the bill and we left the tip on the table, we began to walk away. The waiter came in from behind us, tip in hand, and proclaimed that 20% wasn't enough. And this was over a decade ago. Needless to say, we never went to that Applebee's again. How much the fuck did he want? Wow. All right. And
I wanted $50.
Number 18 was at Beef O'Brady's, and our waitress disappeared into the bathroom for close to half an hour. She came out with a guy, and he left the restaurant. She smelled like sex and looked like a mess. I didn't want her handling my food, so I acted like I was now running late in order to go. Well, sounds like she had some fast service, huh?
Fast. It took 30 minutes. Must have been a damn good time.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. She ordered the tube steak. Out of 18...
Smothered with extra underwear.
These were all horrible, but none of them were as bad as the story you told.
I swear to God, I never went back to that Chili's. Now, here's the thing, though. That was just that Chili's. The Chili's I usually go to here in the Dallas area, not one that they fucked up or fucked up without a real bad repercussion like that, where it's like, oh, food's on us and we'll fix it.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, yeah, wow, yeah. Well, out of 18, I'm gonna say 13 on this one. What do you say on this one?
I'll say 14. I felt for some of these people.
Yeah, I did too. Okay, so hold on, I gotta find this list. Will Hamar, he sends us lists sometimes, and he sent me a couple the other day. I just got to get to it. I thought I had it open already, but apparently not. So let me just get over there to my messages on Facebook. Come on, you whore, move faster. Okay, there we go. Wow, Facebook is not fast today.
No, not real. Hell, nothing's fast today.
Yeah, seems like one of those days. Okay, so this is from Will A. Hamar Jr., and he has his 11 games that he despises that everyone else loves.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
This is interesting. We're starting off on a bad note here because I can't get behind this. Apparently, he despises BioShock Infinite. Yeah, is right. He says, I pre-ordered this game because everyone was losing their minds over it. While the story is phenomenal, I never got the chance to see it all the way through because the controls were so awful. Clicking in the thumbstick to aim was a horrendous decision. The fact that you cannot remap it to a shoulder button is even worse. I tried to like this game, but I just couldn't. Well, the shoulder buttons do the magic powers, so... I mean, all the BioShock games are like that on Xbox, so... Just get it on PC, bro. Yeah. Get it on PC. I don't know, man. I thought BioShock Infinite was the tits. Or as you would say, puppies. Number 10, Tekken 6. He says, I am an unabashed Tekken fan and have been since Tekken 2. I have won multiple tournaments, and Tekken 5 is one of my all-time favorite games. The main reason I love this series is the characters kept the same basic movesets with minor variations or upgrades up until Tekken 6. I have always stuck with the same 4 characters. In Tekken 6, they decided to completely change multiple characters' movesets, the main one being Paul Phoenix. I went from being a god with him to a newbie with no sense of direction because they changed the inputs of some of his most famous moves, and to me, it's unforgivable. Well, to be honest, whenever I played Tekken, I just, smashed all the buttons and won that way. So...
It's usually how I end up playing any fighting game, actually.
If I'm playing Mortal Kombat or King of Fighters or Injustice, a game I actually like, I'll play properly. But Tekken, man, I'm just this is me playing Tekken. And it works. My characters start doing all these amazing things. So I can't. I don't know. I don't like Tekken 6 either. I've played it in the arcade because this girl wanted me to play with her. It was ages ago. Number 9 is Destiny. Unlike a lot of people my age, I actually play shooters for their storyline rather than online play. I feel you there. Destiny is woefully repetitive to the point of rage-inducing tantrums. The entire gameplay of the single-player campaign is pick up the robot, place robot in the hole, fend off enemies while robot takes forever and a half to open a fucking door. Rinse and repeat. There's no deviation from this at all. I've been told the Taken King fixed this, but I cannot bring myself to try. I've heard that about Destiny, that it's just repetitive and boring, so I could feel you on that one.
It's hell, that's the way I feel with almost every shooting game. It's all just repetitive.
I mean, I agree with them. I play them for the story, too, except for, Doom. You're not playing Doom for the story, you're playing Doom for the adrenaline rush, but for the most part, like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Playing it for the story. I agree with him. But, Destiny, yeah, I can't get behind that. Number 8 is Left 4 Dead. I'm going to be honest, I hate this game because I'm bad at it. At least he's honest. No matter how many times I try to invest time into this, the same always ends up occurring. I get a shit weapon because everyone else takes the good ones. I get punked on by a burster, and I get swarmed and die. It never fails. I'm sure with good teammates this game would be fun, but I've never had that opportunity. Well, he's honest. Can't fault him for that. Yeah. Number 7 is Resident Evil 4. This is interesting because I thought that was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. He says, I more hate this game for what it did to the series I hold so high in regard. I actually love the tank controls and fixed camera angles. It made the game tense, like you were actually surviving. This game was just a go here and murder shit on the way type, and I hate those. Not to mention the AI of Ashley when you're trying to escort her is fuck awful, and she will get in your way and get shot or get kidnapped, then it's game over. Fuck this game. I don't know. I can't stand that tank control shit. I was glad they got rid of that.
Yeah, that's kind of one thing that ruined Parasite Eve 2 for me was tank controls.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, we all played those games back in the day, like you know, you said Parasite Eve, Resident Evil, Alone in the Dark, all that bullshit. And we put up with it because that's what we had. But now that we have better options for control, I can't go back to that.
Exactly.
I loved Resident Evil 2 back in the day, but I can't play that shit now.
The only reason I played Resident Evil was because my buddy wanted me to let's play it so bad that he gifted it to me twice.
I like the story and the whole like aesthetic of it, like the cheesy zombie horror shit. I love that shit, but I can't go back and do this thing where it takes you 5 years to turn yourself around. It's no, please, no.
Exactly.
Number 6, League of Legends. I mean, a lot of people don't like League of Legends. I'm not a fan of MOBAs in general, but this is my opinion is the worst of the lot. You can play this game for 3 hours and that's it. You've seen all there is to see in this game. There is too little variety in the gameplay to hold my attention. I understand the competitive aspect is the draw for a lot of people, but not me.
Okay, you know I play a lot of MapleStory.
Absolutely, yeah. You spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah, but bringing up League of Legends just to insult it is like you're just asking to get your ass kicked because a lot of people on there play that game as well. And I openly state, I do not like this game. It sucks. It's boring. You start out at level 1 in every fight, and you have to level back up. There's no point to it. There is competition, I admit. It is a lot of mental thinking involved as well.
I understand the meta game and the competitive scene, but if you're not into that, I get what he's saying. It may be fun for a few minutes, but after that, it's like, all right, what else is there? You know?
Exactly. It's like, hey, what else is there to do in here? This is retarded. Let's do quests. Let's kill each other for prizes.
All right, number 5 is Earthbound. I mean, you know, Will, I know you're kind of a new to the channel here, but man, I'm with you. I fucking hate Earthbound. Fuck that game. Well, let's see what you had to say. He says this game is just too fucking weird, man. Give me Yumi Nikki over this any day.
You know, I know my opinion will not be. Just go on.
You can have whatever opinion you want, man. What do you think about it? You like it?
I fucking love Earthbound, dude. That was my best.
Fine. Like, I can't stand it personally, but you could like it. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad. See, I play it. I did not enjoy it. If you played it and you got enjoyment out of that shit, man, good for you.
And that was the first, like, when I Let's Played it, I mean, I've tried playing it before, and I'm like, this game is so fucking boring. But then, you know, it was recommended to me by my best friend and mentor, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it for him. I'll do it for him. And I got Elizabeth involved, and I got DKS3A involved, which I know is a big fan of Kasara Studios' work as well. Yeah. And it turned out to be my best Let's Play ever. At least to me it does.
Hey, well, that's cool, man. No, I don't shit on people for liking it. I just personally, I get shit on for not liking it a lot. And that, you know, well, let me tell you a quick story. People who have been with the channel for a long time know the story, but I know you don't know the story because this is way back in the day. People always used to ask me to Let's Play Earthbound. I'm like, no.
I think you told me the story about how somebody was so desperate to see you do it that they took a nude photo of him and sent it to you.
Yes, I got nudes.
Yeah. Send nudes, please, and I'll do it. Boom.
And I said it as a joke. I didn't think it would ever happen. And, hey, it was pretty nice, too. I played it for like an hour. It was painful, but hey. I made a promise, you know? All right,
There's a promise, Lieutenant Dan.
Yep, number 4 is, oh, man, I like this game, though. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Oh, man, Black Ops 3 was so good. All right, let's see what he has to say. I was a huge fan of the first Black Ops and even delved into the multiplayer a lot. This game might as well be called Call of Halo because that's what it tried to be. This game lost any sense of identity because it tried to be something it wasn't. Had they made it into a modern warfare title, it could pass. If you play the original Black Ops compared to this, it is too drastic of a change. Well, yeah, I mean, the first one took place in the 60s, and this one takes place in the future, so of course it's going to have futuristic shit in it.
Amazing how it all started out with just one simple game that took place during like one of the past wars, and now look at it now. It's like, oh, we gotta go all futuristic now.
Well, people get sick of the same shit after a while. I thought Call of Duty Black Ops 3 was the tits. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I don't think it was like Halo. I think, if anything, it was like Deus Ex with all the weird, going into people's minds and all that weird shit. But, all right. Number 3 is, okay, Final Fantasy VII.
What?
All right, let's find out what his reasoning behind this is, because while I do think that 7 is, kind of a little on the overrated side, it's also good. I'm never going to say it's a bad game. All right, let's see what he says. I like the story, I like the gameplay, I love the characters, except for Cloud. He's a self-centered emo piece of shit. I hate him with a passion that burns hotter than a Faraga smell. Okay. Alright. Will, my boy, listen. You have completely misunderstood Final Fantasy VII. You're not supposed to like Cloud. He's a dick. The whole point of the story is that he's pretending to be something he's not. He has no identity because his self-esteem is shit. He's so head up in pretending to be this bizarre mixture of Sephiroth and Zack that you don't even see the real personality of Cloud until, the third disc of the game. And he's actually not emo at all. He's like a normal dude. But the whole like Cloud is emo thing honestly came more from Advent Children than the actual game.
Yeah, I was about to say Advent Children showed off the emo side because he's like, now he had a good reason though at that point. He's like, dude, I fucked up so bad.
And I'll be honest, I hated Advent Children. I really did. I hated it.
Oh God,
I hated it. I mean, I love the animation. The animation was fucking beautiful, but the story just pissed me off.
But it was more like one of those.
Was a
like
good game.
One of those. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just think it was a good game. I don't think it was like the best game ever. Like some people are saying it was. Like I like 6 better than 7. I like 9 better than 7. But I like 12 better than 7. But it was a pretty good game. I mean, I know you say you like the story, the gameplay, and most of the characters. You don't like Cloud. You're not supposed to like Cloud. He's a dick. He's doing all this shit to impress this girl that's already all over his dick anyway.
2 of them actually.
Yeah, but he was doing
all. One of them gets sliced.
It was all about Tifa. It was all about Tifa. And Aerith is another character that gets like grossly misunderstood because everybody plays her up as almost being nun-like and saintly and pure. And if you play the game, she's actually really funny and kind of snarky. So I think a lot of people have they misremember it or something. They have a really weird view of what FF7 was actually like. That being said, his number 2 is The Sims. I can definitely get behind that. The console ports aren't bad because they have an arching storyline that has missions to complete. The original was just like The Sim, just a life sim, and just reminded me that I could be living life while playing this, and it was too meta. I can never see the point of a game that doesn't have a goal that you just play. It's kind of like a whole Minecraft thing. I feel like the adults on South Park when they're trying to learn Minecraft and they're like, okay, when do we start playing the game? You are playing the game.
I never could get games like that.
Yeah, where you just play. There's no goal. There's no place that you're trying to get to. Yeah, not my thing.
Terraria, Minecraft, The Sims. I just don't get any of that. I just do not get any of it.
I can't do it. And finally, number 1 is Fear. I don't have any opinion on Fear because I never played it, but let's see what he says. I just didn't think this game was scary at all. I mean, you're Jack with all kinds of weapons, and there's no survival aspect. All it had was jump scares, and that's not horror. Well, I do agree that that's not horror, but I don't have an opinion on Fear, so I never played it. So, have you played that one?
Nope.
Yeah, so, all right. Out of, how many was this, 11 or some shit? Scroll up here.
I think you said 10.
Yeah, it was 11. Man, I don't know, man. I'm gonna give it a 6.
I'll say 4.
You kind of start off on a bad foot with fucking Bioshock Infinite, man. That's rough. He also sends his 11 most underrated bands, in his opinion.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Number 11 is Senses Fall. Never heard of them. Says, have you ever played an EA racing game or Guitar Hero? I love them because their second album was a concept that told the story of a crash victim entering a coma and coming around to face his own mortality. It was well done and the songs jammed. Well, it sounds interesting, but I've literally just never heard of this band.
Yeah.
Number 10 is the Exies. Unless you were glued to G4 or Fuse TV back in the day, in the early mid to 2000s, you would have never heard of these guys. As I mentioned in a previous list, they were featured in Guitar Hero as well. Classified as post-grunge, these guys' music spoke to me and helped me through some rough times. I'm willing to bet that I've probably heard them, but I have like no memory of it whatsoever.
Exactly. I don't either. It's like Guitar Hero. Which one?
I mean, I've played them all. I'm pretty sure, there was probably, a track by the Exies, but I couldn't remember it. All right, number 9 is Trust Company. These guys were awesome. A Philadelphia hard rock band. These guys tore it up. That and Downfall is a great workout jam. I never heard of them. So.
Me neither.
Number 8 is, oh, really, bro? Sum 41. He says Sum 41 is underrated. Really, man?
They're still around?
All right, let's see what he said. Oh, to be a punk skater kid again, almost getting decapitated trying to take a ramp over a smashed car just to get a handy from a random trailer park car for like 4 years older than me, with the Hell song blaring out of my friend's car. Memories. Well, hey, I mean, it sounds like you've attached it to a good memory, but, man, Sum 41 were not good.
I like them, but are they still around?
I doubt it. That fad is kind of past.
I haven't heard anything since the album with the Hell song on it. That was like a decade and a half ago.
I don't know, man. Number 7 is Under Oath. You wouldn't have known this was a Christian band unless you just read it here. I actually got introduced to them by a youth pastor, and they surprisingly kill it. That's all well and good, but I've never heard of them, so.
I actually have. They are pretty good.
Oh, okay. Number 6 is Kill Switch Engage. He says original singer.
What?
Thank you. Wait, how are they underrated? Weren't they like super popular? I know Kill
They're
Switch.
they're like the number one metalcore band on the planet right now, according to
how are they underrated?
last time I checked.
I seem to. I mean, I remember them. I don't think they've done anything recently, but I do remember.
I mean, I'm not a fan of them, but I do know that they're up there.
Yeah, and
everyone
remember,
does Kill Switch.
I mean, I don't know that I'm not a fan either, but I've heard a couple of songs here and there. They had some songs that were in some pretty major movies. I remember enjoying some of their music even, but how are they underrated? All right.
I don't know.
And then he continued. Number 5 is Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains is underrated?
What? They
Fucking
play that
love
shit on
this
Sirius all the time.
They were fucking awesome. Everybody knows Alice in Chains was awesome. All right, what is he? I firmly believe had Lane Staley never passed away, these guys would still be churning out hits, but remain mostly forgotten in today's generation. I don't know about that, man. Well, maybe for today's generation. I'm not from today's generation, so maybe he's right. Maybe kids don't know Alice in Chains. Maybe that's what he's saying.
Thanks a lot for making me feel old.
I know. Wow. They were the shit, though, man. All right, number 4 is Unwritten Law. These guys evolved from an LA punk band to an alternative metal to alternative acoustic band. They rocked every sound they tried. Okay. I never heard of them, but okay. Number 3 is Alien Ant Farm. Really? All right. Alien Ant Farm.
They only had like a 2-hit wonder, and that was it.
And one of those hits was a cover.
Exactly.
But he says, I was one
good cover, but that was it.
It was a good cover. He says, I was one of the few who genuinely like their other stuff than Smooth Criminal. These days is a jam, and movies is fantastic, and Glow is what I sing to my son as I rock him. Well, that's cool and all. All right. I guess if you really like them, they are underrated because you don't really hear much about them anymore. Number 2 is Helmet. Nah, man, Helmet sucked. I'm sorry.
They do suck. I turn the radio off every time they pop up on Sirius XM.
Oh, they say, why does no one in my generation, 90s kid, know these guys? They rocked harder than, well, something that really rocks. No, they didn't. They were boring.
They sucked.
I was always really bored by Helmet. And I'm not talking about just, I had one of their records that my mom got the CD for herself, and then she just didn't like it. And she's like, do you want this? And I'm like, sure, I'll take a free CD. And then I listened to it, and I was like, no, this ain't good. And his number one pick is Billy Preston. Whoa, okay. Curveball for number one, I know, but you cannot deny this man's name is largely forgotten. He recorded with the Beatles and wrote many a hit in the 70s and 80s, such as You Are So Beautiful. That is literally the only example of an actually underrated musician on your list.
I agree.
So, I'm sorry, Will. This is kind of not the most amazing list. I'm gonna say that I'm not gonna go too harsh. Out of 11, I'm gonna give it like 4 because it plays to your taste more. But I can't agree with the majority of this.
But I can. 1.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. I just personally, I don't want to be too hard because it is a matter of taste. But I do think that when you're saying something's underrated, it should actually be underrated. Like, nobody is saying that, Alice in Chains sucks.
Yeah, we're talking like bands that barely anyone's ever heard of. Like, like Eat the Turnbuckle. That's a band that just started like last year.
Hell, that name is hilarious.
And it's a wrestling group that wrestles while their teammates, like, it's a tag team of 5 people, and they tag each other in while they're playing instruments, and then they tag them in, they stop playing, they go in and wrestle. And then when they tag out, they get back, and they're all bloody, they're bruised, they got glass in them, and they're still sitting there playing music.
That is really fucking weird.
They get Sirius XM play. That's how I found out about them. I was like, these guys are pretty good.
That is really, really fucking weird, man.
On Liquid XM. Is it Liquid XM? No, Liquid Metal XM. There we go.
I don't have Sirius. All right, here's a list from Looper.com that was submitted by none other than Alex Shannon.
Alex, don't blow this, buddy.
He didn't write the list. He just found it on the internet and gave me the link. From Looper.com, it was movies that were ruined by one scene. All right. Personally, I think that if one scene ruins a movie, then it wasn't good to begin with, Like, I think personally, if a movie's good, it can survive having like a bad scene. But let's see what they say. There's no numbers on this. The first one is The Matrix Reloaded, and the scene they're picking is Neo fighting all the Agent Smiths in the park. What are you talking about?
What?
That was great. What are you?
Hell, that was the only scene that made the whole movie.
I first of all, Reloaded is my favorite of the 3, and that scene was that was great.
I mean, the movie was good. Don't get me wrong. It's just that was the one memorable scene.
Well, to me, the freeway was more memorable, but that was the other memorable scene. Yeah, all right. I don't agree with that. The next one is The Dark Knight Rises, and the scene they're picking is My Legal Name is Robin. That was just a cute little shout-out. It didn't bother me none. It was at the very end of an already amazing movie. So, fuck off.
What a way to end the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
I thought it was really good. Next one is Star Wars Episode 3. I bet you can guess what scene they picked for this one.
Where is Padme? It seems in your anger
Yep.
you killed her. No, I felt her. She was alive. I felt it. Breaks loose. No!
All right. I'm going to kind of reiterate what I said. I thought Episode 3 was really good. Yes, that scene was fucking lame, but it didn't ruin the movie. I mean, all right, I kind of laughed and then moved on.
It was the last shred of human emotion that he was going to show until Jedi.
Yeah, but it wasn't done well, and it was a bad fucking cheesy ass scene, but that doesn't ruin the movie. The movie was still good. It was still a hell of a lot better than Episode 2. So I can't get behind that one. All right, Lord of the Ring: Return of the King. Really? All right, the scene they're picking is the hobbits frolicking around on the bed at the end. No. That didn't ruin the movie. What ruined it was the fucking meme that came of it, where they put it on YouTube and they put all the derpy fucking voiceover on it. You ever see that shit? Hannah?
Trying to remember that scene. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big fan of the movie, so
It just ruins the whole thing. You can never watch it the same way again.
I don't know. That was one of those movies where I honestly did prefer the book over the film. So,
well, I prefer the book too, but I thought like as far as getting any kind of adaptations of Lord of the Rings, I thought they did a pretty good job. I mean, to do a real like real adaptation of it, I mean, the movies would have been like 7 hours long anyway. So.
Yeah.
The next one is the original Star Wars, and they're picking Greedo shooting first. I mean, okay, all right. Anybody who likes Star Wars hates that, but it doesn't ruin the movie. It just makes you kind of go, it's fucking stupid. And
if Star Wars fans are going to get that upset about a scene that doesn't even last for a whole second,
yeah,
OMG.
It's
get out in the sunlight.
I agree. It's like, get over yourself. It was a lame change, but you just kind of go, it's stupid. And then you enjoy the rest of the movie because there's still lots more to go. And the majority of it is awesome, so what's the problem, you know? Okay, the next one is from Return of the Jedi Special Edition, the Jedi Rocks thing. Like, they seem to be really picking on Star Wars here, you notice that?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, that was lame too, but it's still Return of the Jedi. There's still 90% of the movie is good, you know?
Exactly.
That's the 10% of it that's Jedi Rocks and the Ewok sucks, but the other 90% is pretty fucking awesome. Alright, the next one is Live Free or Die Hard. Look, dude.
Alright, what scene is it? The one where the car crashed to the copter? Or the part where he shoots himself in the chest to get the bad guy?
The car crashing into the chopper.
Oh, for heaven's sake, that was awesome.
I mean,
it was cheesy, but it was awesome.
Here's the thing. The movie wasn't that good that you could claim that this ruined it. It was dumb and fun. You know, and
it was one of those fun movies
it was a doofy,
you know, it's like
doofy, low effort action movie that I enjoyed. That's how I feel about it. So
right.
I don't think anything ruined the movie. I just think it was like, you know, it was a solid like 7 out of 10 or so. I don't have a problem with that. Watchmen. The sex scene. Well, okay. It did go on for like a little bit too long, I'll admit. But, you know, whatever, man. You get to see Malin Ackerman's tits. What's wrong with that? Got no problem with that shit. Alright, the next one is from Interstellar. Oh, tell me I'm going to talk shit about Interstellar. I'm going to punch a bitch. They're talking about how it ended. Like the whole ending, basically.
I can't say I've ever seen it, so I can't really judge it.
It was a good movie. I would recommend it, actually. If you like science fiction, that is.
Alright.
Jurassic Park, The Lost World. Okay, first of all, the scene they're picking is Jeff Goldblum's daughter doing the gymnastics and she kicks the Velociraptor out the window. Yes,
what?
Yes, that was retarded, but so was the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
The Lost World Jurassic Park was not good, so how could that scene ruin the movie? Alright, whatever. I'm guessing from your reaction you've never actually seen that movie.
I wasn't a fan of Jurassic Park.
I thought the first one was pretty good, and Jurassic World was good, but Jurassic Park 2 and 3 were not good. That's the second one, The Lost World. It was bad. Okay, here's another one that I can't get behind. Die Another Day. James Bond surfs on a tidal wave. This movie sucked, so how could that ruin it?
I don't know.
Like, if I was to do, like, top 5 worst James Bond movies, that would be in there, definitely. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next? Let's see. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Guess what scene?
The alien.
No.
What? The monkeys.
No.
Refrigerator.
Yes, the refrigerator. Now, I want to argue that that was the only good scene in the movie. Because I laughed at it. I laughed at it. It was stupid and hilarious and over the top, and all the Indiana Jones movies are kind of like it. The rest of the movie bored me to tears. And I hated the monkeys. And Shia LaBeouf. Okay.
Yeah.
Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. They're not even picking a scene. They're just talking about 2 characters, Skids and Mudflap. I mean, you either think they're funny or you don't, but I mean, they didn't really ruin the movie. Transformers is not exactly a intellectual thing. It's about robots that kill each other. It's just enjoy it for what it is, you know? Then what do you think, Baden?
I haven't seen any of the Transformers movies. I never was a fan of them.
Oh, well, I am, and I don't go to these movies for good dialogue or plots. Or I want to see robots fighting, and it had that, so I'm fine with that. All right, how many are there? Oh, Spider-Man 3, Peter Parker dancing at the jazz club. Okay, well, it can't ruin the movie if the rest of the movie also sucked.
I kind of liked it.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, no, man. There were a few good parts in it, but for the most part, I was very disappointed in Spider-Man 3. And I was, like, super fucking excited to see it. Went to the theater and everything, and, so let down by it.
Oh, it was better than The Amazing 1 and 2. I couldn't even watch those. They were so bad.
Well, I liked the first Amazing Spider-Man quite a lot. The second one, I'll agree, sucked, though. I'll agree the second one sucked. Let's see what we have here. Bruno! I didn't see Bruno, so I can't comment on this. The focus group scene, I don't know. I didn't see Bruno.
Oh God, that whole movie is meant to make you uncomfortable, basically, because it's
it's a cringe thing, right?
It's a very he's going through straight camp, basically.
I should probably see this. I just haven't seen it. I should probably watch it because I'd probably love it, but
well, basically he's going through straight camp, basically, and he's like, okay, so what are some manly things I can do to be more of a man and less than a gay? And he's like, well, try martial arts. And instead he goes to martial arts with dildos and is wanting to get fisted. Or he goes on a hunting trip and tries sleeping with the men. And then they're like, okay, step it up to the maximum. Go to a swingers party. That didn't turn out well for him either.
Or it did.
Well, he got good footage, let's put it that way.
Or it turned out really well for him. I don't know, that sounds funny to me.
Like, let's just say when it ends with him getting thrown out the window from the second story because he's trying to avoid a dominatrix who wants to whip him. And he's like, I'll play it along, but could you put this on? She's like, what is this? This is a beard. Like, he's trying, like, it was so, like, I'm laughing the whole time, but at the same time, there's that part of me that's like, what the hell am I watching? Why do I find this so funny?
As long as you find it funny. The next one's Prometheus, and, the ship. Did you see Prometheus?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, the ship itself, the Prometheus, is like, it's kind of shaped like a donut. And there's a part where it crashes, and it's like rolling towards the characters, and they're running away from it. It's basically like a trailer shot. And like anybody with any sense says, why don't you run to the side? Like, why would you run forward? You know? And yes, it's dumb, but it was still like a fun movie. It was still pretty good. It just had that one dumb moment that they clearly shot just to put it in the trailer. I don't think it ruined the movie. I think, it was dumb, but it didn't ruin the movie. You're playing with me here. Man of Steel. I mean, you could probably guess what they picked for Man of Steel.
Actually, no, I haven't seen it.
Oh, shit. Well, you're about to be spoiled, Peyton, because we're doing this list here.
Not interested. Go ahead.
All right. Well, Superman kills Zod at the end by snapping his neck.
Okay.
I didn't have a problem with it, to be honest. Some people did, but if you put yourself in that moment, he didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Okay. How many are there that do not know? 12 Years a Slave, which I never saw. Apparently, Brad Pitt has a cameo, and they're saying that ruined the movie.
Brad Pitt's cameo ruined a movie?
I mean, I don't know. I tend to like movies with him in it. Not all of them, but he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I hated Troy, but that was not his fault.
Yeah, that was because of the director.
The next the next one is Remember Me, which is an ironic name for a movie that nobody remembers.
Exactly, because I don't even think I've ever seen it.
Well, it's got that Twilight kid in it, and I guess the twist at the end. The twist at the end was that it all takes place on 9/11, and they all die or whatever. But I don't know. How could it ruin a movie that I don't think did very well? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just looking it up right now. I just want to know what kind of reviews this movie got. Let's see. It's got 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think it's that low because of the one scene. It's probably that low because of the whole movie.
The movie just sucked.
Let the Right One In is the next movie in the... I didn't see this. It's apparently there's a part where a bunch of cats attack a character or something.
Yeah.
All right. I'd take your word for it, but the rest of this list has been pretty terrible. Kung Pao Enter the Fist. The guy fights a cow. I mean... Okay, so there's a ridiculous part in a ridiculous movie. What's the problem?
The whole movie's supposed to be ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a parody.
It's a comedy. It's not meant to be taken seriously, so what's the problem?
Hell, that was my first movie I ever saw dubbed.
Oh.
I remember getting pissed off. I was like, I'm just a 10-year-old boy watching this. I'm like, why are the voices so distinct? What's going on here? And then then a few years later I realized, oh wait.
Well, the last one on here is a movie I never even heard of, Red Hook Summer. Have you heard of this?
Nope.
Oh, it's a Spike Lee movie.
That's why.
Oh. He used to make good movies like 30 years ago. He should have stopped then. Apparently, there was a plot twist. They're not going into any details about what it is, but apparently it didn't go well with the critics.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, I don't know how many there were. It wasn't numbered. It was terribly put together. I don't agree with almost all of the list. We'll give it a letter grade. I'm going to give it a fucking... I'm sorry, F-. It's just terrible.
F-.
Alex enjoys sending me lists that he knows will piss me off.
And he's doing a damn good job of it too. I can tell by your voice.
Yeah, he enjoys it. Like he sometimes send me a list with the preface like, "This list is bullshit and you will hate it." He didn't do that this time, but that list was bullshit, and I did hate it. So, fuck that noise, man. Fuck that noise.
Come on, we got to end on a high note. Let's find a list. That's
I do want to end it soon because I'm very tired. But we should end on a high note. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, please. I mean, if you go to bed pissed off, you're gonna end up like me and only get like 2-3 hours of sleep. Like I didn't get much sleep because I stressed out so bad yesterday to the point that I think I may have gotten myself sick.
Why
I had to sell.
So stressed out.
I had to sell my 3DS.
Oh.
So yeah.
That would stress me out. Ain't nobody come between me and my 3DS.
And it was a Legend of Zelda Special Edition 3DS. The one that came out with Triforce Heroes.
Well, Triforce Heroes sucked, but that's still pretty cool that
it
you
did,
had
but
that.
At least I got the money to pay my errands bill. So I get to keep my landlady gets to keep her stove. and I get to keep my PlayStation 4.
That's rough. Where did you sell it to?
I sold it to a local game shop here in town. Game Exchange.
Hayden, can I give you a little advice for the future?
Yeah.
Next time something like that comes, because I know you quit a job and you're starting a new one very soon, and obviously there's that interim where you're not making money and you needed to sell your 3DS to cover some bills. In the future, pawn it.
Oh shit! Why didn't I think of that?
You go to a pawn shop, you pawn it. They give you a loan. You have like 120 days or whatever it is to pay them back, and then you get your shit back.
Huh. All right.
That's what you should
keep that in mind.
Because
all right, I'll keep that in mind.
You know, for the future, pawn it next time, because then you would have had money in the interim. You know, it's like the simplest form of credit. You know, it's a loan.
Right.
And it's
win-win. You got collateral.
And it's win-win for them, because if you don't pick it up, they keep it.
And that thing, it's gonna. The game exchange told me this is, if you sell this to us, it's gonna snatch up pretty quick, and if you want to buy it back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know, but desperate times call for desperate measures.
I had to sell some rare Saturn games once because of something like that. It sucked, but in the future, you pawn it instead, just so you don't have to regret. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have another story list here that might be kind of us going out on a good note. Hotel workers share the craziest real life stories about guests.
Yes.
Sounds
good.
That sounds fun. A lot of crazy shit goes down in hotels, right?
Yeah.
All right. There's 16 of these. Number 1. I work valet at this fancy hotel in Virginia. One Friday evening, this really nice old couple pulls up and gets us to unload their bags and park the car. All the stuff you do at a fancy hotel. Later that night, they have a nice dinner and drinks out on the town and return to the hotel. The next morning, someone sees a note on their door that says, "Do not enter, call the police." Oh, shit, I know where this is going.
Oh, God.
It's like a fucking urban legend. It turns out that the wife had been diagnosed with a terminal incurable disease, and they decided to take cyanide and both go out together after a nice evening instead of letting the disease win. The weekend after this happened, the room was reopened and no one even knew that it happened.
Usually how it happens.
Well, hey, man, they went out on a high note, I get that, but wow, it's rough for the hotel workers, man.
Yeah.
All right, number 2. We had a guest we ended up calling Pie Guy. He would come into the hotel without a reservation, pay for a room in cash, put down a $100 cash deposit. The next day, we would find his bathroom and bathtub full of the crusty remains of several expensive pies. He never came to the desk for his deposit as he knew he wouldn't be getting it back. Eventually, we added his name to our do not rent list, but he kept coming back and using different names. One time we found a torn-up list in his room with the words pie and pants scribbled over and over again.
That guy's definitely disturbed.
Wonder what he was doing with the pies. I'm sure it was nothing good. All right, well, this is a lot weirder than I thought it was going to be. Number 3. One night, a guy came in with a luggage cart filled with boxes and a VCR. As you might expect, within 30 minutes, we received multiple noise complaints of vulgar sounds coming from his room. But the mystery runs a little deeper than you might expect. We made multiple unanswered warning calls to the room, so I called the police. They got there pretty quickly, and we went up to the room. Noise is not discernible. Knocks go unanswered. Open the room up, and a VCR is plugged in. Pornography is on the TV, now muted, with piles of other VHS porn tapes piled all over the room. Multiple sex toys and lubricants spread around everywhere, but there was no sign of the guy. So we leave the room as it is until morning. We check on the room in the morning, and there's no sign that he's been back. In fact, he never returned, like some kind of porn VHS Phantom of the Opera. His stash went in the back. He was the jerk bandit, I guess. He would jerk off and then vanish into the night.
Jeez.
Number 4. While I was working as the overnight manager at the Ritz-Carlton Chicago, the bartender called me at 1:30 a.m. and said he was having trouble closing down the bar because a bunch of people were playing the piano, singing, and wouldn't leave. I was so busy with reports, etc., that I marched right over, intent on quickly breaking up the party. I entered the bar to find none other than Fleetwood Mac singing Beatle covers. There was Mick... There, wow. There was Mick Fleetwood playing percussion on a cigar box and Christine McVie on the piano. I stood in awe. Backup singer grabbed me by the arm, pulled me over to McVie, and I sat next to her singing Hey Jude and other songs. Surreal. That's actually pretty awesome.
Jeez.
Wow, that's cool, though. Number 5. Once a stone guy walked into the lobby at midnight, picked up a decorative rock, walked around in the perimeter of a lobby, and then put the rock back. Then, without a word, he returned from whence he came. He just had to come in and take the rock for a walk, I guess.
Weird.
That is weird. Number 6. I initially considered going anonymous for this answer, but what the hell? It's true and it happened, so why hide, right? We once had a consultant from a very large company come show up incredibly drunk at the hotel. He couldn't find his own room and kept trying his key on the room exactly one floor below his. Been there. That room was occupied by a woman who promptly called security. They figured out who he was, took him to his room, and thought that would be the end of it. An hour later, the same woman called. Her ceiling was leaking water. Guessing what might be the problem, security rushed to the guy's room. No answer. Could hear water running. They were stepping on wet carpet outside the room. It's 2 a.m. now, and they forcibly enter the room, rush to the bathroom. Our guy is stark naked, passed out, sprawled out on the floor of the large rain shower with his butt covering and completely blocking the drain. Security turned the water off, cover him up, but take a photo. Total damage was about $13,000. The guy tried to deny it in the morning. Our hotel manager was having none of it. She showed him the photo, and he agreed to pay the full amount back to the hotel if we didn't tell his employer. We didn't. Ow. I can't remember the last time my ass was the cause of $13,000 worth of damages.
I know, right?
Number 7, one night I had an older white man who would only be helped and served by people of color, telling us you can't trust white people.
Jeez.
It's so fucking weird, right? Number 8, I used to work at the front desk. One day a guy asked if he could book another room to store his 11 life-size sex dolls.
Oh, God.
Why would you tell them that? Why don't you just say, I need another room for reasons, you know? I have money, you know? Like, why would you tell them, hey, I got 11 real dolls, I got a star in it. Number 9, former hotel maid here, walked in after being told to come in on an older woman inserting a foreign object into a much younger man on a bed where they had replaced the hotel sheets with their own Twilight-themed spread.
Oh, God.
That got weirder with every word.
It hit the roof with that last part.
Or the rock bottom, as the case may be.
Yeah.
Number 10, I had a weird guest who was part of a land survey crew that would come in every week. One time she called the front desk and said, there are bubbles in my toilet. Why are there bubbles in my toilet? I told her they might have flushed the water pipes. She then says, hold on, I'm going to bring some down. I said, ma'am, that's not really necessary, but she was already off the line. About 5 minutes later, she comes down the elevator with a wine glass full of clear water. Well, it was bubbly a minute ago, she insisted. I had to walk in the back and beat my head against the wall for a bit. We also found a crack pipe made from a hotel pen and what looks like rocks and cigarette cellophane in the presidential suite.
Jeez.
Well, finding the drugs is probably pretty standard, but the wine glass toilet water is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Number 11, at Caesar's Palace in early 1990, I checked in these 2 guys. One was a talent manager who kept insisting that the guy standing next to him was going to be the funniest and most famous comedian in the world one day. Well, that was a mighty unlikely brag. I looked over at the guy and simply said, congratulations and best of luck to you, thinking these guys are the biggest joke ever. But I decided to remember the up-and-comer comedian's name, Jim Carrey, if you were wondering.
Uh-oh.
Well, I guess they were right, huh?
Yeah?
Yeah. Number 12, this one lady came into the lobby around 11 p.m. and asked for the workout room, so I opened it back up for her, figuring she was one of those 24-hour workout people. I went back in around 3 a.m. to close it up again and realized she had set up a bed for herself on the treadmill. She was having a fight with her husband. Oh.
Ouch.
Well, shit. Why doesn't she make his ass go sleep in the workout room? Shit.
I don't know. My stupid sister used to do stuff like that, except she wouldn't bring a bed and put it in the mattress room or whatever like that. She'd just run a hotel.
Well, there you go.
But whatever happens to her now, I really don't care about. So
well, there you go. Number 13, had a drummer for a certain famous musical group stay at a hotel I worked at the time. He smoked pot in the room and left the remainder of the drugs lying around. Housekeeping cleaned the room, reported the drugs. Management called local police. Local police said he's a VIP, and we need to get approval from on high to arrest them since big lawyers and PR will be involved. High authorities report that approval would be needed to wait until the next day when the district attorney could decide. The drummer came back, saw that his pot was missing, and like an idiot demanded we contact the police to let them know that housekeeping had stolen his drugs.
Uh-oh.
So we called the police, half expecting to see an arrest for possession. When the officer arrived, I took him in the back office away from the guests and explained the situation and backstory. We had a good laugh at the drummer's stupidity. The officer comes out straight-faced, takes the drummer's dead serious statement, listens to him explain how he had left his illegal drugs in the room, and now they are gone, and lets him know the police will follow up with him in the morning. They never did. That guy is lucky he's a good drummer. I know that I'm never going to know, but I am so burning curious as to who that actually is.
Yeah, I know, right?
We're never going to know. Number 14, while stories of men cheating on their wives are common, we actually had the wife show up one afternoon at the front desk looking for him. In a bad mood, naturally, fuming, ready to rip someone's head off. She said she knew he was there, she just needed the room number. We knew this guy, he was a regular for what it's worth. Luckily for this guy, his mistress paid for the room in cash, so we used an alias on the room. We would allow that as long as we had seen ID and knew who the person really was. So we were able to tell the wife that there was no one registered by that name. She argued and left. Then security got a call. A distressed woman was knocking on every door demanding to see if her husband is in one of them. Quite the scene. Many guests were appalled while others took pleasure in the spectacle. The front desk called a guy in his room, and the next thing we know, he had to escort him from the back of the hotel to his car in the garage underground. Police were called and took the wife into custody. Needless to say, we never saw any of them again.
Jesus, all that just to fuck.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, why not fuck your wife? All right, well, number 15, I had a guy in a very upscale hotel sit in the lobby and smoke several Cuban cigars and drink about a liter of Patron. I guess he had to use the bathroom, so he made his way to the front desk to ask where the toilet is. After asking and making his way down the stairs, the bellman said he smelled something strange. Then he saw a turd on the floor in front of the desk. The gentleman was still walking downstairs and was leaving a trail of poop behind him. He was wearing long pants, and they were just tumbling out of his leg hole every few feet or so. He made it into the bathroom and proceeded to smear the mess all over the walls of the stall. He left the mess and his pants for housekeeping to clean up. Once presented with the bill for cleaning the next day, he threatened to write a bad review since he was apparently a hotel critic and all. He was blacklisted and never got his pants back. I don't think he wanted his pants back, to be fair, I mean. All right, and finally, number 16. I started working right out of high school at a very nice hotel in my city as a dishwasher in the hotel restaurant. Sometimes I would run room service orders to guests if the waiters were super busy. My second week working there, I was taking up a meal to the third floor of the hotel just before the kitchen closed. I get off the elevator and immediately heard faint moaning from the other end of the long hallway, but I figured it was just someone having sex. I delivered the food, and the guest told me she had heard loud screaming minutes before I came to the door. She seemed worried. As I was about to get back on the elevator, the moans continued. I looked toward the end of the hallway to see something on the ground next to the ice machine at the very end of the hallway. I walked over to see what it was, and I found a man dressed as a woman, wearing a blonde wig and a short red dress, laying in a pool of vomit, moaning. The strange part about it was the dress was pulled up, and this person had one of those Nature Valley granola bars shoved halfway up his butt. 18-year-old me.
Oh, God.
That's a waste of a granola bar. 18-year-old me couldn't comprehend the situation, so I immediately went downstairs and told security. About 20 minutes later, paramedics arrived and took care of the guy. How did he get in that situation? Wow. Got to bring Nature Valley into this, huh?
That just sucks.
Well, I mean, Wow. I guess if you work in a hotel, you gotta kind of expect to see some weird fucking shit. And that was some weird fucking shit. Out of 16, what do you say, Peyton?
We'll give it a 13. Unlucky 13.
Yeah, unlucky 13. Well, okay, I know I wanted to end it, but I have one more that I just found just now, and it's kind of a similar thing, but I think you're going to appreciate this, Peyton.
All right.
It's teachers sharing the most embarrassing thing that they've said or done in class.
Okay, I'm listening.
Have you ever experienced a teacher completely embarrassing themselves?
All the time.
I haven't, so I'm going to enjoy this. All right, well, it doesn't actually say how many there are. So, the first one, number 1, my nose was super clogged from a head cold, and I hate blowing my nose in front of my students. I have a closet in the back of the room that I escaped to release some of the pressure. At home, my husband and I joke that when I blow my nose, it feels like parts of my brain are coming out, too, from all the pressure release. One thing led to another, and I casually mentioned I was heading to the closet to blow my brains out. The students were understandably concerned.
Jeez.
All right. Why would you hate blowing your nose in front of the student? That's weird, right?
I know, right?
Why is she hung
I just say...
that? Just do it. Number
Exactly.
2. As a camp counselor, I was kind of absent-minded when the kids were telling me stories one day. One told me that he had fainted once from heat stroke. While listening, I was thinking out loud and said, what if you actually died that day and we're all just waiting in purgatory? There was an awkward silence, and the boy just said, Ms. May, I don't like that.
Poor kid.
She just traumatizes kid for their fucking existential crisis here. All right, number 3. I had a group of lazy AP kids a few years ago, and at progress report time, about 2/3 were failing. I read them the riot act, explaining that I wouldn't round up their grades at the end of the quarter to a D- just so they'd pass. I kept saying, I'm not going to just give you the D. You need to earn the D. Oh, God.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The kids held out the first 2 times I said it, but by the 3rd time, they started giggling, and I heard it, and we all laughed to the point of crying. Ugh. It was worse than the time I said I was going to Netflix and chill with my cat one weekend because I didn't know what that meant yet. Alrighty then. Number 4, I had a math professor who would come into class every day and start writing on the board. He'd get right into it every day, go the whole lesson without stopping. He had a bad gas problem and would fart while teaching sometimes loud, sometimes soft. I didn't know who it was at first. Me and my buddy would just sit in the back and giggle. Once we started failing the class, we started sitting in the front and paying attention, and that's when we found out it was our teacher. He'd fart and just keep going on without skipping a beat. On his part, it's probably the best way to handle the situation, but there were some times I had to leave the class because I started laughing so hard.
That's kind of what happens to me all the time.
You just keep, well, you're a trucker. Who cares if you fart, right? Ain't nobody to smell it.
Yeah, but I mean, even I'm having conversations with people like in truck, and not just in truck stops, but I mean shippers, receivers, all that. I just let one go.
That's true. That's true. Number 5, in band rehearsal once, I accidentally passed gas. One of my tuba players nearby heard it and tooted a low B-flat on the tuba, matching pitch. We both just looked at each other and laughed. That's a quick and witty response, I must say. Number 6.
I think that's something I did once.
Oh, cool. Number 6, I'm a professor at a university, and I know this doesn't exactly answer the question, but 5 minutes ago I let my class go 30 minutes early because I felt a huge fart coming. All right, then.
Oh, boy.
Number 7, recently I said penis instead of pieces while reading Of Mice and Men aloud to a class of 9th grade boys. I worked at a Catholic school. One kid's response was simply, nice. Wow. Number 8, I'm currently a teacher, but my favorite embarrassing teacher story originates with my cousin who taught middle school. She had recently had a baby and was breastfeeding, so she pumped at school on her breaks. One day during her planning period, she shut her classroom door and covered the window so she could pump. While she has one of her boobs flopped out of her shirt, she felt the urge to fart, so she just let one rip. That's when she heard a muffled sound from the back of the classroom. She had completely forgotten about one of her male students staying in the room through recess to finish a test. She said she apologized. She said she apologized profusely, but the poor boy refused to look her in the eye or speak, and he didn't for the rest of the year.
Jeez.
Can you imagine?
That sucks.
That's crazy. Like, you're just sitting there finishing a test, and the teacher just like whips out her tit and starts pumping and farting. That's all right. Number 9. I'm a PE teacher at an elementary school. We were in the middle of a gymnastics unit. I was demonstrating a forward roll for a 3rd grade class. When I flipped, I saw something pink fly out of my pants leg. It was a pair of my daughter's underwear that must have clung to the inside of my pants when I got them out of the dryer.
Uh-oh.
I picked them up before any of them really noticed exactly what they were. Hey, covered it at least. That's funny, though. I was a little worried there when he said something pink flew out of his pants leg. I'm kind of glad it was somebody's underwear and not, like, dick and balls. Number 10, teacher had a smart board, was teaching lesson, finished, sat down, forgot his computer was still hooked up, and went to his email, opened the chat, and begun to ask whoever it was for another whole picture.
Jeez.
He got fired 2 years later for something else.
Really?
I wonder what the something else was. It's probably something mundane. Number 11, not so much embarrassing as confusing and concerning, but while I was a student teaching last summer, I was on the sidelines as the students were doing a quiz or something and accidentally said the F word under my breath. A student who was walking by heard me, so I started apologizing profusely, to which they responded, "That's okay, that's not even the worst thing I've heard you say." I have no idea what I said, and they would not give me any other details. I still think about it sometimes. To be fair, that kid probably just said that to fuck with you.
Probably.
Number 12, this one's my mom's story. She has lots of allergies, so for a while she was using a neti pot every morning, one of those new agey things where you rinse your sinuses with salt water. That sounds like a really bad
Done that
idea.
before.
One day during her first period class, I think sophomore Spanish, a kid asked for help with a worksheet, so my mom walks over to his desk, bends over, and water pours out of her nose all over his paper, ruining the sheet. I guess you have to tip your head just right to get all the water out. She hasn't done the neti pot since then. Imagine being that kid, and the teacher comes over, and just water starts shooting out of her nose. That is a story that you'll be telling for a long time. Number 13, when I was a TA in university, I used the washroom just before a lab started. Normally I don't have any issues. This time I let out 2 drops after I zipped up. I also happened to be wearing light blue jeans. There was no way I could dry this in time, and it was important that I was there on time. There were about 20 first-year students, and they definitely noticed. I was the TA who peed himself. Well, they say no matter how much you wiggle or how much you dance, the last 2 drops ends up in your pants.
Oh.
Number 14, I was showing a class of 8th graders how to make something out of clay, and as I was demonstrating, I said, "Now slap your balls back and forth in your hands." I mean, I taught middle schoolers, so my embarrassment never lasts, but lordy, did that turn my face red.
Jeez.
You gotta carefully think of it, everything you say before you say it, because kids will never let that shit go.
No, they won't.
Number 15, we were discussing love at first sight as we read Romeo and Juliet in a 9th grade class. I asked them how much looks matter. They agreed looks matter a lot. I mean to say, you don't normally look across the mall and say, "Wow, I bet she's got a good personality." I actually said, you don't normally look across the mall and say, "Wow, I bet she gives good personality." Clearly not what I should have said.
Bet she gives great helmet.
Number 16, most of my embarrassing moments happen when I'm teaching PE because I never catch potential sexual innuendos ahead of time when I'm teaching. "Okay, everyone, now grab your 2 balls and hang on to them." Or, if you don't put it in right now, you are out of the game." Or, "You can swallow it or spit it out, your choice." Referring to gum in that case. And on and on. I usually only notice when the class starts giggling, and then I have to pretend that I don't know why they are. Oh, you know. There's always going to be that kid that says, "That's what she said."
Yeah, you got one right here in the chat
Yeah.
or in the list
Oh,
critics.
I used to do that shit all the time. Number 17, once when I was still subbing, I covered a health class for high school freshmen. The teacher had me play a video about the dangers of smoking. One of the kids asked, "Mister, you ever smoked?" Without thinking, I said, "Tobacco? No." That's honesty, at least.
Yeah.
All right. Number 18, something somewhat similar but incredibly smoothly handled happened during the first lecture on economics at university. Professor stood on the little stage thing in the huge 1,500 people auditorium. All went well, but after like half the class, there is a large pop-up on his presentation, some kind of Apple Play or Bluetooth pairing thing that says, "Bombshell 69 wants to connect." Many people start laughing. Professor looks bewildered for a second, hits decline, disables something in the settings, then looks up, smiles, and says, "Maybe we should connect after the lecture." Brief academic applause from the whole room follows. Well, he handled that well.
A little better than usual.
Yeah. Number 19, the most embarrassing thing I said was during student teaching. I used to have a terrible habit of blurting out the same response to certain questions or statements, things like "you're dumb" in response to "that's dumb." But I kept it in check while I was in school, except this time. One day a kid asked me where my jacket was, and I said what I always said when somebody asked me where something was. I sold it for drug money. I felt like an idiot as soon as it came out of my mouth.
Jeez.
Oh, honestly, I had this one job once, and actually they made me stop doing this, and I used it like, it was all women there, and they would like ask these dumb questions like, "Why is this doing this?" or "Why is this like this?" And I would always say, "Because you touch yourself." And they were like, "Nah, you gotta stop saying
I say that too.
You gotta stop saying that, people don't have a sense of humor here." Like, all right. Number 20, first day of school.
No,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've actually got a retort for that one whenever somebody tells me because you touch yourself at night.
Yeah.
If a female says that to me, and I said, "Yeah, because you're not in my bedroom," or "Yeah, because you won't."
Oh my. Yeah. Well, in a workplace, that'll get you sexual harassment real fast, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, it definitely will.
Yeah. I would just end it at "because you touch yourself." Number 20, first day of school in my first year teaching, I was sitting on a desk and going over the syllabus. The desk tipped out from under me, resulting in me falling off. I teach high school theater, and since it was the first day class, the kids were dead silent. So I said, "Guys, laugh! That was hysterical," and they burst into laughter. What a way to break the ice.
Yeah.
Number 21 was reading a story about the Victorian era when the word corset was used. Kids didn't know what that was, so I trotted over to the LED projector hooked into my laptop and Googled corset. Yeah, my mind was in the Victorian era, but Google was in Victoria's Secret. All those images, many of them with full MIPS showing, just got blown up across the wall of my classroom. And that's when the principal walked in for my quarterly evaluation.
Uh-oh.
Well, it doesn't continue, but I'm sure we know where that ended up. I mean, if you're going to do something like that, you got to make sure Safe Search is on. Number 22. Don't exactly remember why, but I had to get a little stern with my class about timeliness. To drive my point home, I finished my rant with "the clock is right there" while pointing at the clock on the back wall. For reasons I'm still not sure of, my tongue just went paralyzed for a split second, and it just decided not to pronounce the L in clock.
Jeez.
Didn't have a whole lot of control of the class for the rest of the day.
Of course not.
I would imagine not. It reminds me of, I knew this guy, a couple of guys that went to the Chubb Institute, that computer tech institute.
Yeah.
And they knew this Vietnamese girl that went there, and she was pretty brilliant with technology, but she had a real hard time pronouncing the word disk. It always came out as
Yeesh.
dick. So she'd be talking about flash dick, hard dick, floppy dick, and they all had
first time I talked to a girl who was Vietnamese, was actually like she said something along those lines, like "show me your dick."
And you're like
I think
right.
that's just that's what And I'm like, wait a second, really?
And you're like, all right, and then you find out she's asking for something very different.
Actually,
yeah.
it was one of those things where it escalated really bad to the point where I ended up having phone sex with her. Like we were just, it was somebody on Maple Story, basically.
I wouldn't call that really bad.
Not really, but
that sounds pretty good to me. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, in the school setting, they had to pretend like what she was saying wasn't funny, but obviously it was.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
you know, a hard
so
dick.
hard
Did you flash the hard dick? Floppy dick? This and that. You know. All right, number 23. I'm a fourth grade teacher, and before winter break, my class was making ornaments to take home. They were simple glass balls that were filled with paint. We were starting to clean up, and a few boys still working on the ornaments on the other side of the room. I yell over to them, name and name, get your balls over here right now. As soon as I said it, I realized my mistake. Well, that's an honest mistake. I mean, it's funny, but yeah. Number 24, I had just begun class, freshman comp at a community college, and was going over what the day's plan was. A student walked in a few minutes late, sat down, and pulled out his computer. Upon opening the computer, very loud moaning sounds of porn emanated into the room for approximately 3 seconds. Once he got it to stop, he shakily said, "I'm sorry." I stood at the podium and said and a couple of times, and then, "Give me just a minute, guys." I stood there looking down at the podium, trying to collect my thoughts as calmly as humanly possible so I could continue class like nothing happened. After around 15 seconds of pure and uncomfortable silence, a kid from the back of the room let out a 2-syllable guttural chuckle. I lowered my head behind the podium with my hand still clasping onto it above my head as I bent over and lost my shit. I laughed hysterically and uncontrollably for at least 30 to 45 seconds, emulating Stewie's ridiculous laugh from that episode of Family Guy, but with far more wheezing and high-pitched squealing. The entire class started laughing with me as soon as I started. After I was finally able to collect myself, I apologized to everyone and said I was sorry and that I had tried so hard to remain composed. Later, when telling the story to other faculty, they agreed that there's no time in pedagogy classes devoted to the appropriate reaction to porn noises being played during class, and that I did the best with what I could by not calling the kid out. I literally didn't make eye contact with him once or kicking him out of class for something that was embarrassing enough as it was. Well, fair enough. That was the last one. Out of 24, this was pretty fucking amazing. A few too many fart stories, I thought, but other than that, pretty good. I'm gonna say I'm 19. What do you say, Peyton?
21.
All right, well, that's going to be the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit late this month, but, you know, I was sick for like a month, so what do you want from me, guys? Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll get List Critics 2 out before the end of the month, and there's going to be some announcements and shit coming soon, but I got to get the hell out of here.
Hopefully y'all didn't spooge too much listening to us ramble on about lists. I know everyone with their big rubber masturbating shoes on, you want to go take them off, and you want to go take a nice hot shower. Everyone go do that. We'll see you guys next time.
Hey, if anybody's jerking off to our voices, I say, hey, whatever gets you off, just don't tell me about it.
There is someone out there doing it right now. I can tell you that right now, and I just say, okay, whatever.
There you go. All right, I'll see you.
Later, guys.